Good afternoon and welcome to Locally Hated Podcast. This is your host, the News Lady. And of course, I got Brandon Lyons with me, Greg Lord, and I brought a Gen Z with us, not to actually contribute, but probably to judge. This is my daughter, Paisley. Y'all have heard me talk about her a lot. And today we're going to kind of talk about how we grew up. They're going to she's going to tell us at what point it becomes illegal. So, just the differences between the new age now, with technology, social media, et cetera, and how we grew up. So, and that's going to be pretty, it's going to be, to me, I think it's going to be a lot different. I don't know how you two were raised.
You probably should put a disclaimer out before we get into this too deep.
Well, the disclaimer is that for me personally, I have no problem with the way I was raised, and I don't judge the way anybody raises their kids. It's for them to decide, not me. But to me, even though some people may call it traumatic or whatever, I think I had a decent raising. I obviously,
and you turned out just fine.
That's questionable some days, but I don't think any of us, our parents were probably harder on us than we are on our kids. And I think we kind of discussed that with when Galen was here. But I don't feel like I was traumatized by anything.
No.
So I think that's kind of where that is. That's the disclaimer. So she's going to be giving us the Gen Z reference rather than the boomer reference of this conversation. So what we're going to start with is, I don't know how y'all grew up. I grew up in a couple of different places, but my actual home was at my grandparents' side was the steady for me, and we were gone all day. Is that how is that how?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, my mom started homeschooling me in third grade because I was like a menace to society to first and second grade, and so she pulled me out, started homeschooling me, and
so when you say menace, what
like when the teacher would hand out, like I remember in second grade at Anacoco, I think it was Miss Turnipseed.
Oh, okay.
Great teacher name, by the way.
Yes.
She's born to be a teacher.
She's born to be a teacher.
I remember she would hand out, math, the addition, subtraction sheets or whatever. And I would just crumple it into a ball and throw it in the trash can, from across the room.
Were you above that, or?
I don't know.
Kind of sounds to me like he was just a butthole.
yeah, it was. I don't know, but I was good at math, and I would, I guess when I would do them, I'd do them well. But
maybe he just felt like it was beneath him.
Maybe so.
So,
I just had extreme ADHD, or just there definitely was. I was bored.
Yeah,
I was definitely bored because, in first grade, they recommended that they move me to second grade, skip first grade, and I remember they had me do
to try to keep you more engaged.
Yeah. And the teacher gave me this project to do a volcano thing, a paper mache volcano. Or whatever. And I just sat there and watched the video on the computer that she put me in front of, and just I never progressed past that point. I was like, I don't know, this is cool how this volcano works, but I don't know how to I don't know how you want me to accomplish this. It was I need to go to the store. I don't know. So I don't know if I had the maturity level to do that, even if my reading and math or whatever was,
right. So you didn't know how to follow through with the plan.
But anyway, so once I got to homeschool, it was a lot of I would just go down into the woods every day for our recess. It'd be a 3-hour, recess in the middle of the day or whatever. So I would like take the BB gun down in the woods and just shoot birds, trees, whatever, squirrels, for 3-4 hours at a time, just walking around in the woods alone.
Did y'all do the same thing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So there was 9 grandkids, and
I didn't throw my math work in the trash can, but I did the other stuff.
So there was 9 of us, and during the summers with my grandmother, I've said this before, she was either turning her hearing aids off or she had the patience that God gave Job, because she would get all 9 of us for 2 weeks at a time out of the summer. That was because she wanted us to grow up together.
There's no patience that deep. She was turning her hearing aids off.
Well, we were gone all day long. So we had horses and 4-wheelers. We would play cops and robbers, cowboys, And when I tell you that we were gone, no cell phone, no, like nobody knew where we were at.
Nope.
Nobody knew where we were at.
Just be back home before dark.
She would put, I don't know how everybody else's grandma was, but she would take like the bottles, if we had Coke or anything, the little 20 ounces, and she would refill them with water. And then we would put them in our little igloo cooler, and they would melt throughout the day. And that was our water and stuff. And there was, I don't think I've ever said this to you, inside or out.
Yep.
You're not going to
No,
be.
okay.
You're not
you
gonna be
never said
fanning
that.
the door.
You never said that to me, but my dad's parents always said that to me because I would be running in and out all day. Because, okay, I never really liked being outside, but I would follow my brother and my cousins around because I had nobody else to hang out with. So I would follow them around, and I would get bored. I would come in. I would get bored of being alone. I would go outside. I would get bored of them, and I would come back inside. And Paypal would always tell me, inside or out, Paisley.
Yeah, I'm not.
And don't disturb their stories.
And don't leave the door open.
Don't leave the
Don't
door
leave the
open.
door open.
Yeah, don't leave the door open. So I always thought it was kind of weird because, like, looking at it now from a parent perspective, I'm like, did nobody care where we were at? Like,
They didn't know where we were at.
because we had at my grandparents' house, it was a lot of land, like hundreds of acres, and there was no stone unturned. And there was there was cows, and obviously there's other animal creatures out in the woods and stuff. The fact that none of us never got bit by a snake.
Well, I remember when I was like, I don't know, it had to be 8, 9, between 8 and 10. I went to a Boy Scout camp for the first time, like summer camp.
Okay.
And we had this wilderness survival merit badge or whatever that we could get. And so I did that, and you had to like build a lean-to and sleep in it outside. And it was miserable. But I came back home, and I was dying to do that like down in the woods behind our house. And so I did. I like built a thing off the ground, and then I told my parents that I was going to go sleep in there for the night, and they were like, okay, they didn't think I was going to go, And so I did. I went down there, and I think I brought like a little 22, with me. Just I don't know what
For
I was
protection.
thinking that would, I don't know what I was thinking I was going to do with like a 22 long rifle if a coyote came up on me. But and so my dad said the next day he said, "Oh yeah, I went down to check on you." He walked down there at like 1 or 2 a.m. or something because he was worried about me. And he said, I walked down there, and I walked up to your lean-to, and you were just snoring fast asleep, But looking back, like, I remember waking up in the middle of the night and just like hearing, steps around me.
Wonder
like
what the
coyotes
hell am I doing out here?
Yeah, you could hear the coyotes howling, and it was. Yeah, glad I didn't get eaten.
Well, and to me, I always wonder if that taught us, like, was it neglect or was it like independence building? Because to me, I feel like this generation is a little more dependent.
Yeah.
Yes, it's supervised independence, I think.
Yeah, I think we were a little more. I said this the other day. I think that we've shorted our kids on problem solving. Because I don't know how. My memories are with all 9 of the cousins, and 2 of those were my siblings, and inevitably 9 kids are going to do stuff you shouldn't do. Okay, it's inevitably going to happen. So when you go and you do that stuff and you break something, or for instance, I'll give you a good for instance. So there was at some point a go-kart and a dirt bike. Okay. And there was all kinds of stuff. There was 9 of us. So they're racing down the road. Okay. And the dirt bike it was the go-kart. The go-kart was beating the dirt bike. Okay. So inevitably it's on a dirt road, right? So the dirt is like, the dust is flying up everywhere. And the go-kart goes to do the turn to come back to the house, and the dirt bike T-bones the go-kart.
Oh, Lord.
Okay. So we limp them all back home. We're all children, by the way, right? So we're all trying to get our story together. The go-kart's broken, okay? The dirt bike is fine, but the go-kart's broken. One of my cousins is all bruised up because, scratched up because he hit the go-kart, flipped over the go-kart. So we start taking apart the other go-kart that doesn't run to fix the go-kart that we've just broken. because we broke the little axle, the little steering axle.
Man, I feel like that was a universal experience. There's always just a broken go-kart like around, you know?
Well, okay, so for me, it's the fact that was where we went because all of our parents were inside. We're not going to tell our parents.
Well, no.
You know, like we just broke the go-kart. We're not going to tell them. So we are getting tools and we're fixing this. In the middle of fixing this, and I'll have to call out my brother on this. I look up and realize, or one of us does, that Dustin's bleeding from the head.
Oh my God.
And we're like, oh my God, how are we going to fix this? You know, like he's bleeding from the head. And somebody goes, Dustin, you're bleeding. And he goes, like in amongst the adrenaline and everything else, nobody's noticed. And we're trying to fix everything, you know, and inevitably one of our parents came out and, you know, but we immediately went into problem solving mode. Whereas I think your generation is immediately coming to get an adult.
Okay. As someone who grew up with a brother who was more on the problematic side, we would get into play fights and he would hit me really hard and I'd start crying and he'd be like, no, shh, I'm sorry, don't tell mom.
Yeah, we all did that.
You can hit
You can hit me back. And then I would hit him and he'd start laughing at me because I wasn't hitting him hard enough. And it's like, what? And then I feel like I did tattle on my brother 9 times out of 10. But as I got older, I stopped tattling on him.
She seems like a tattletale.
Oh, 100%. Because I was always my dad's favorite, and I knew even if I lied about something, I could get away with it. And my brother would get in trouble.
I told one of my cousins one time at Christmas, you know, the family was there and everything. I think I was like 10. And I told one of my cousins that Santa wasn't real.
Greg.
Yeah. Yeah. I felt betrayed at that point, you know, because I think I had just kind of realized, you know.
So you wanted somebody to bring down with you.
I just wanted to, you know, stick it to the man. You know, I felt like the man had lied to us, you know, like
He's like, somebody's going to be just as sad as me about this.
You know, this is like, yeah, exactly. I mean, the internet had just kind of, this is like right when we, you know, got the desktop computer and, you know, I'm Googling, is Santa real? And, you know, after much research on Google, I came to the conclusion that no, Santa's not real. And they've lied to us all this time, you know.
So did y'all do the Easter Bunny too? So was it like a domino reaction?
I think I already did. The Easter Bunny wasn't real. You know, it's like, come on. A rabbit?
A rabbit with eggs? Okay,
Yeah,
this isn't real.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think the Santa Claus one is always like that. That's always a big turning point for. Now Paisley's was George Washington.
Okay. Okay. So we were
I can't
in
wait
like
to hear this.
we were in like kindergarten, right? And we're learning all the stuff that George Washington did. And I'm like, man, this guy's so cool. He's the first president ever. Like,
Can't be real.
This
like-
is all fake.
he's so awesome. And then like I get home after like a week of learning about George Washington, and I'm like rambling on and on and on in the car about how awesome George Washington is. And I was like, man, I want to meet George Washington. And my brother cuts me off and goes, Paisley, George Washington's dead. And I start crying, like bawling. And I was like, what? And I'm like sobbing actual tears. And my brother's in the front seat laughing so hard. And that made it even worse.
I think her concept of time was not right.
I was going to say, I was like, at no point.
How old were you?
like
in
5?
kindergarten.
Yeah, there is no
Oh, okay.
concept of time.
Yeah,
My
no.
6-year-old right now has absolutely no concept of time whatsoever.
She had learned and she wanted to meet him so bad.
Yeah, because I thought he was a cool guy.
I mean, he probably was.
Yeah. It was just, it wasn't fair. I wanted to meet him. And then I think I found out Santa wasn't real. I was a detective I don't remember how old I was whenever I found out Santa wasn't real. I think I was also like 5. But it was like, me and my brother stayed up all night and it was like 4 a.m. And we'd heard Santa walking around in the house, and I go out and I look in the living room. There's presents under the tree and the cookies and the milk are gone, but I see boot prints on the ground. And the boot prints are the exact same foot shape and like pattern on the bottom as my mom's boots. And I was like, and I remember running back in the room and telling my brother, and Austin just kind of like looked at me like I was dumb because he already knew Santa wasn't real. And it was just,
So hold up. Wait, you went through all the trouble of comparing boot prints,
Okay, I didn't go through the trouble. I knew the bottom of my mom's boot print.
but why?
I don't know. I know my mom's old license plate number. There's just a lot of facts that I just randomly remember. And I remembered what the bottom of her boot looked like. And I think there was...
I've been wearing these for quite a while, and I couldn't tell you the pattern on them if I wanted to.
And I think that one of her boots had been laying sideways on the floor. So it was like kind of like that. So I could see the bottom of it. But I also knew from glance that that's how small my mom's foot was.
Well, that's fair. She's a little detective.
Yeah. Clearly.
So being gone all day, like
I'm going to have to start watching where I walk.
Yeah, don't be sloppy like Jessica.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Paisley's going to text me, was you just over here? I recognize the pattern on your boot.
So being gone all day, which is a normal concept to us, but now like the kids have cell phones and everybody has everybody's location. So like, how do you feel about location?
Okay, it gets to a point. Like,
What was that look for?
no, because she's like, now everybody has locations. And it's just, she has my location on like 5 different apps. And
Okay, but to be fair, you're underage with
Yeah.
a cell phone. If you're not with me, I need to know where you're at. Just
Yes,
because
ma'am.
there's a lot of weirdos in the world.
yes, ma'am.
So like that's the whole purpose. It's not really for an invasion of privacy, but the funny part to me is that she will text me, "Where are you at?" And she has my location.
So they were at Rec Law last year. It's like a whole airplane thing. And I was at my dad's because I didn't want to go to Rec Law.
I think you told me this story.
And it's
Seems like I've heard this.
and they were at Rec Law and they were at Rec Law and
We were planning on going to Rec Law, and that's a camping weekend, but the weather was going to be really bad, and it's a dry camping experience. So we, at the very last minute, because of the weather change, we opted not to bring the camper. We did go up and spend one day with our friends, but we opted not to bring the camper because we weren't sure once we got in there if we would be able to get out.
Wait, what is a dry camping experience?
it's like
There's
really
no
dusty.
like you don't have any generator, like
Yeah.
you can't
okay.
it's not
That's
there's
good.
no hookups.
Yeah, that's good.
So and it's all field. There's no actual camping like
So it's
concrete.
like primitive
It's-
camp.
it's-
Yeah.
like,
Even if you have a camper and you can run a generator during the day and the solar panels and stuff, there's no like it's not very there's no sewer hookup.
Yeah.
There's no it's
It's a no annoying RV people experience.
yes.
Yeah.
So but it's also like a huge field. So if it rains, we've been through that before. We almost didn't get out.
Yeah.
So then that creates problems getting home, getting back to work, So anyway, continue what you were saying.
And they were going to Rec Law and I'm at my dad's and we're in the deer stand. No, we're on the way to the deer stand. And it's like 6:30 in the morning. I look like to go text my mom, and under the little like icon with her picture on it, and it says like Mom, I see that it says Oklahoma. And I was like, what? I was like, this has to be some like, I don't know, this has to be some mistake. So I click on it and I look at her location. She's in Broken Bow, Oklahoma. So I text in all caps. I'm like, why are you in Oklahoma?
No, she goes, I'm sorry. Why are you in Oklahoma? And Oklahoma is all caps.
And like, I was just so confused. And then Mom was like, oh yeah, it rained. We got rained out at Rec Law, so we just decided to go here. And it's like, I've never been to Oklahoma before. You could have come and got me.
Yeah, but that's the thing is you didn't want to be along for the adventure. So
Yeah, and they were trying to get away from you for the weekend.
okay, so moving on, we'll move forward to another prompt that I want to talk about is car safety. So do y'all remember when seatbelts became a thing, like when you started having to wear your seatbelt? Do you remember that, or was that always a thing?
It wasn't always a thing.
You mean like the law or
Yes.
like?
Yes.
Oh, no, I'm not. I was
So-
born in 96.
I remember when they started making it mandatory for you to wear a seatbelt because you didn't have to before. I also remember when there used to be cigarette machines at Skate Palace. And there was no proving how old you were. There was just if you wanted some cigarettes. At the skate rink, there was a cigarette
Oh
machine.
my God. That's crazy.
So wasn't that, I mean, I know
It wasn't that long
It was
ago.
only 30 years ago. I remember when you had to be a certain age to buy them. And I remember when that got enacted, I believe, because I remember being able to go down to one of the stores in Anacoco with a note from my mama for a pack of cigarettes. That I was getting it for her.
Yeah.
Well, that's illegal.
Now it is.
It is now.
I don't think I
It
ever.
probably was then too. We was just able to get away with it.
Yeah.
I don't think there was ever a time where there wasn't like it wasn't. I don't know how to word this. I've always had to wear my seatbelt.
Yes.
Wait till you hear that cocaine used to be in Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I always say put the cocaine back in Coke.
It would make it far more enjoyable.
It will probably
a
make it
small
far
bit.
more expensive too.
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
So we used to also be able to ride around in the bed of trucks
Yeah. Yeah.
everywhere.
Oh, I still do that. I know that's illegal, but like I still
on the
do that.
highway?
Not on the highway, but
we would literally, if there was too many in the front.
I remember during the summertime when we was out of school, the cousins, all of us, we would load up in the bed of a truck, drive to Site 7, spend all day up there swimming and doing
Yeah.
whatever, and then drive all of us piled up in the bed of the truck.
That's a 30-minute drive.
Yeah. Down the highway.
Did y'all ever do that?
Yeah, occasionally. Yeah. Yeah. Especially when, in the teenage years, like 14, 15, 16.
Yeah.
When friends started, when some of the older friends started getting their driver's license and stuff.
Yeah. So now you've got kids riding in the bed of trucks with kids driving.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it was also different getting our license back then. Like,
Oh yeah, now
There's
I had
so
to
many
get,
more steps to it now.
I had to get a tip card.
I don't
now
even know
got a
what that is.
A tip card, it's a temporary instructional permit.
Hold on, I'm going to add to that. I felt like an idiot. Shut up. I felt like an idiot back when I was constable in Ward 4. I stopped some people one night behind Pickering School driving around in the bus parking lot. They had a bunch of catalytic converters that had been getting stolen, and they asked me to kind of hang around. Well, there was a car come through. It was like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, so I blue lighted them, shut them down. And I get out and I ID the driver, and she hands me this tip card. I'm like, what in the hell is this? Oh, that's so-and-so and so. I had no clue what a tip card was.
Yeah.
Then I felt like an idiot because I'm pulling these people over and I had no clue what the hell I was talking about.
yeah.
Have a good day.
Have a good day.
I mean, I remember when I was like probably 14 or 15. Yeah, definitely before my permit. And I think I was still, maybe I was younger than that. We're past the statute of limitations on this. So I can
as long as it's not murder, you're good.
Yeah, no, I was still being homeschooled because I remember I went to Anacoco like middle of 8th grade. Is when I went back to public school, and it was before that. So I remember my friends and I were obsessed with like Monster energy drinks and Red Bull and stuff.
Oh, same.
Yeah, and nothing has changed on that front, I don't think. But like I would, when my mom would leave or whatever, I was being homeschooled, I would take our expedition that we had that was just kind of a spare vehicle, and I would go down to Lebo's on Highway 8 there and, buy a Monster or whatever and drive back.
I don't think that was uncommon.
No, I don't think it's uncommon now. But then, and then speaking of trackers, like when I got my license and I started driving back and forth to Natchitoches for Louisiana school, when I would come home for the weekend or whatever, and I'd drive back, I started getting these texts from, mom or dad, and they'd be like, please, go a reasonable speed, like watch your speed. I'm like, what the hell? What's going on? And come to find out they had put like a GPS tracker in my car. And so I figured that out, and I took it out and I drilled holes in it and threw it away. But I was doing like, I don't know, I was going way too fast. I was doing like 110 down the
Did you
highway,
get in
down
trouble for that?
117. For what?
For taking out the GPS.
No, I think they felt bad about it.
I feel
because
like
they
it
didn't
should
tell
be
me about it.
disclosed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against like the tracker situation, but I do feel like they should know at the very least. Like,
I was also so independent at that point. Like, I mean, when I went to college, I moved all my stuff there myself. Got the U-Haul, got the apartment, like moved.
that's because you were sleeping outside in the lean-to when you were like 9.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when I was
I-
like 8.
With
I
a
was,
22.
Yeah.
When I was like 8, I was calling up Suddenlink, like getting them to come run coaxial cable so we could get Wi-Fi in the house. Like
that seems like such a Greg thing to do too.
yeah,
It seems like a Greg thing to do.
It does.
So, okay, so let's talk for a minute about the internet because I know y'all use the internet like for everything now.
Y'all
Like,
were like pre-internet.
we
unks.
were pre-internet.
Yeah.
Okay, but internet came about when we were probably 16. 17. Well, for you, probably a lot younger. So first of all, you had to put a CD in that AOL sent you in the mail for free.
Yeah, for free.
And you would put it in and you would get so many minutes on the internet for free. And then after that, if you didn't have actual internet, you had to get off the internet. It would make this really loud sound when the dial-up sound.
Oh, that sound.
Yeah, it would make this really loud sound, and you would be on the internet, and unfortunately, it ran through your phone line, your home phone line.
You either had to have a dedicated line for the internet, or your phone didn't work.
And if somebody called, it kicked you off the internet. So it was a whole thing, okay? But what I want to talk about specifically is the AOL and Yahoo chat rooms. Do y'all remember those?
Yeah.
It was past my time.
So that was So you would literally go into these chat rooms and you would not know who anybody was. Okay.
It's just people in there talking trash.
Just people in there talking.
Just talking trash.
ASL. That's exactly what it was.
Exactly
and you would be on there and you'd be making up how old you were, you know. You would
Wait,
never,
so like that was y'all's generation's like Omegle or something?
Who? No, not
No,
quite.
there was no video.
Yeah, and it wasn't random.
You don't know what Omegle is?
What'd you say?
Omegle.
Omegle's a site that you go on and you can turn your video on or off or your microphone, but it just puts you with a random person and you can skip or
Why would
That
you
was
want
such
that?
that was such a canon event at like 9 years old.
Yeah.
Like you would be at your friend's house and like you knew you weren't supposed to be on there, but you would get on it anyway and you'd be like laughing and like skipping people and like it was so fun.
there's a lot of
Yeah, you'll have to Google that when you get home.
just forewarning, there's a lot of naked dudes
Yeah, a lot of you don't want to see all that.
wade through the well, never mind.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Show.
At least keep it PG.
So what we would do is
Well, hold up. Whoa. Why are you on there then?
She skips all
like-
those immediately.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
I was like, I think I was maybe like 9, and I only did it whenever I was at my friend's house because we thought it was like so funny and hilarious. Whenever we saw some random guy, we thought it was so funny, and we would end up skipping them, but we would be on it for like hours just laughing at
Well,
random
sometimes
people.
you would get like a fun, person to talk to or whatever.
and they would
but
like actually talk to you, but like 9 times out of 10 it was like random guys, like random naked guys.
Well, now.
So what we would do when we were younger is we would log into these chat rooms, and they're like worldwide, nationwide, whatever. And they would ask you, it would say, you had joined the chat room or whatever, and it would ask you, they'd be like ASL, they would say your chat name, ASL. And it was just full of freaks. It was just like, it was the same, there was no unique experience. Like, given any chat room you went into, if you said 16 female Louisiana, some 50-year-old guy is going to private message you, because that was available, and try to hit you up. And it's like, oh my gosh. And that's when I learned that the internet was full of creeps. Because I wanted to like chat with friends or whatever. And
Yeah, mom wanted friends from like Slovakia.
yeah, I mean, I just wanted to chat with people, but I didn't want to be like, I didn't want it to be creepy. But yeah, I mean, it was.
Mom, I got this new friend. He's a Nigerian prince.
He needs my bank account number.
He needs your social security card.
Yeah, I need you to give me a gift card number.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were basically completely unsupervised.
Yeah.
But I also, disclaimer, I don't think our parents were aware of what was out there on the internet.
Well, and especially my
no.
generation, like, because I think at my age, I mean, I'm 29. Like I said, I was born in '96, and we had the internet. We had the inklings of like what the internet is today, but it was far more uncensored, and it was unrestricted. Like it was just to the point where there weren't parental controls and
None.
stuff yet. Now,
There
y'all,
was no. They didn't know they was going to need them.
Y'all had the beginning internet, the uncensored internet as well, but I would say it was more constrained because of the dial-up thing. And
That's correct.
It hadn't grown as mainstream as it did by the time I
That's
became
correct.
a kid.
Well, and two, I've always been fascinated with the fact, and you'll probably learn about this. So before there was Facebook, there was MySpace.
I remember.
Oh yeah,
MySpace.
I know, but MySpace.
So what baffled me was that we were all coding MySpace backgrounds and songs and all that other stuff, and we didn't even
Had no clue. What
nobody
we were doing.
even showed us how to code. How did we know how to do that?
Yeah, was that like it was HTML, right?
Yes, it was HTML, and we would be writing, and it would like your background would come up this, and it was so bizarre to me to think about it now, because if you asked me to do that now, I would have no idea.
No idea.
You would have no idea.
Do you remember your MySpace? Anything about it? I remember mine.
I remember that it was a big deal to be in somebody's top 10. And if you changed out of your top 10, if somebody, it's like, oh my God, they moved their best friend out of the top 10.
Wait, so is that like the best friends list on Snapchat?
Yeah, it was, yes, but it was visible to everybody. So what would happen is if you went to this person's MySpace page, you would go on and it would show their like top 10 friends in one section. And usually it would be like the boyfriend or the girlfriend would be number one. And then that's how you knew they broke up, because they took it out of there. Like they took it off of
Nowadays, you just look at the Facebook profile and you go from a picture of both of them together to just him.
I'm always mind blown when that happens.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, but it does happen very like quietly for the most part, unless it's very public. I never discourage anybody from having a very public Facebook breakup, because I love every minute of it. So
I love whenever I'm like scrolling on Instagram and I think whenever my best friend broke up with her boyfriend, I got like texts from 40 different people. Hey, did so-and-so break up with so-and-so? And I was like, I don't know. And then I looked at her profile picture on Instagram, and then it was just a picture of her. And I was like, oh, wait, what? So this happened while we were at camp. So I rushed back to the dorm, and I come in and she's crying. And I was like, hey, what happened? And she was like, so-and-so broke up with me. And I was like, what? Because mind you, they'd been dating for like a year. So nobody expected this to happen. And my phone is still blowing up. People calling me, people texting me, hey, did so-and-so break up with so-and-so? Because it's my best friend. So they assume I know. No idea why. But I just remember calling her ex-boyfriend and being like, what is your problem?
Yeah. So the internet is, what do you do online that we would think is insane? The Omegle thing?
That's pretty insane.
That was like that Omegle's kind of run its course though. I think that was more like
it's like banned now. Yeah. Like they don't have it anymore.
Okay.
They had to get rid of it because it's like a bunch of pedophiles.
Wait, is it really? It's banned?
Yeah, like you can't find it anymore.
Oh,
they have On Me TV, but I've never gone on that.
Like 20 clones.
Yeah. There's a bunch of clones, but what do I do on?
They do things that so there's like notes.
Okay,
on
Instagram notes.
Instagram notes.
TikTok notes. Like notes is kind of like you can post a song on there and everybody can see what song you posted, but it doesn't go to like your main story. It's just kind of like if you go to your DMs, it's like those little bubbles and you can see everybody's notes.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Yeah.
I didn't really ever put my feelings on there. I just put songs on there. And then I would hate whenever some popular girl that has never listened to Metallica a day in her life would like my note that was like Metallica. And I was like, oh my gosh, you fake fan. Don't even get me started.
Okay, so if we move forward, we're going to go to like a school segment.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So our teachers, which Greg was homeschooled, so his teacher until 8th grade, right?
Yeah.
And you stayed in public school after that?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you might be part of this. So nowadays, I took the school bus driver course one time.
You did?
I did. I wanted to like make some extra income or whatever. So I took the school bus driver
That
course.
income would have been used for bail money. You're not a school bus driver.
Yeah, I'm not. Well, so I'm in the class and I'm like hearing all these things you can't do. And I'm just like, did my school bus driver take this course? Because my school bus driver would whip us.
You damn right.
Like our school bus driver, like they would tear you up. There ain't no taking you to the principal's office. And they're like, you can't tell them shut up. You can't. My school bus driver cussed me out. Not me specifically, but he would cuss the whole bus out.
Well, and even going back even further than that, my daddy had told me stories about the guy he had driving his bus when he was growing up. They'd stop and put your ass off on the side of the road.
You can't do that. You cannot do that. Like they had to make a rule that that's illegal.
I'm not going to name drop. I don't even remember this guy's name. But I had this school bus driver that I don't remember what grade I was in. I think it was like 3rd grade. He would listen to that song, Wake Up in the Sky by like Gucci Mane and Bruno Mars. And he would listen to that song like all the time. And then he would stop or like 10 minutes before the last couple of people got off, and I was always the last one to get off. And he would stop and he would smoke like 2 cigarettes and then he'd get back on and he would like proudly tell us to shut up.
Because y'all drove him to it.
Okay, so hold on. Because our school bus drivers were smoking the cigarettes
while
on
driving.
the bus.
Y'all were
That-
probably smoking cigarettes in the back.
Yeah,
Well-
they were smoking the school bus drivers.
Hey, can I borrow
Can
one
I
of
bum us?
those? Yeah.
Let me get a light.
The teachers, it's a little bit different back then, because back then, which I think you can still do that here, but I don't know which schools participate in it. But you do have to sign a form for corporal punishment. There was no form back when I went to school.
No, they
There
busted
was-
your ass and it was over with.
Yeah, you went outside, you got a paddle in with a paddle, not a belt, with a paddle, and then you went back inside, and that was it.
I have a story. I think I was in first, second grade at Hicks, and they had those little clips, targeted like the conduct clips, where they had little squares and it like went down. So I had this really annoying teacher, and she was telling us what to do one day, and she would not stop talking. And I had my back was facing her, and I was reading my princess book, and she was talking, and I was going. And then the little girl was sitting in front of me got up and snitched on me, and I was so mad at her. And that was the first time I moved that clip that day. And then throughout the rest of the day, I kept talking and getting in trouble, and I moved my clip so many times. I moved it all the way down and had to move it back up to A, and then
start
I
over
moved it down to B. And then Mom got a call, and Mom was like, "Paisley, just stop talking." And I was like, why? Why should I be banned from talking?
So the difference between that is there was no clips for us. You got told to shut up, and if you didn't shut up, you got paddled. Period. Like there was no. I can remember. This is a true story. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Okay. One of my teachers, I was up at her desk helping her, and because we vibed, and they're both passed away at this point, but we had a kid in our class he was a menace. He was, he hated school, he just didn't want to do it, and he was misbehaving in class, and she had made him come sit up there beside her. So that's what would happen. You would get moved to the front of the class, closer to the teacher's desk. But he was so bad that he was literally sitting on the floor with his papers right next to her chair.
I have seen them back when I was in like elementary. They would move your desk out in the hallway.
Yes. So she asked the question, and I'm up there, I think, grading papers or something. She asked the question, "Who's the king of the jungle?" Because we were reading a book or something. And he yells out, and he's sitting right next to her.
Tarzan.
No. He said the camel.
The camel.
So everybody starts laughing because this is what he does. And she commences to hitting him over the head with a pin. And she's like, "I told you, like whatever." And this is Anacoco Elementary. And there's windows at the bottom in the elementary. And he's sitting right next to the window. And he was like, "I'm tired of this," and opens the window.
He gone.
Oh my God.
And she's like dragging him back inside. But it's like that would not happen today, right? Like those.
Oh, I've had teachers that would throw chalk at you, throw erasers
Yeah,
at you.
erasers.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, but those things wouldn't happen.
I don't think the main thing that I got in trouble for at school was talking. I still get in trouble for doing that at school. Sorry, not sorry.
Never would have guessed.
Anyways.
Yeah, but the teachers don't physically touch you.
Right.
No, I think the first time I got detention was this was like first, second grade.
I'm seeing a trend here.
And I was I think it was because I stole some girl's like iPhone eraser that she got from the book fair. And I took it from her because I wanted it. And Mom didn't give me any money that day for the book fair.
I had probably given her
So
book
this
fair
is
money
your fault.
every
And
single day.
She probably, yeah.
I'd probably given her book fair money every other day.
And then I took it and I have it hiding. I hid it in my desk, and the teacher was like, "Paisley, do you have it?" And I was like, "No." And then she proceeds to look in my desk and find it. She was like, "Go move your clip." And I moved it down to a D.
That's so much less intimidating than go wait outside. I'm getting a paddle.
Yeah. Because you knew something was fixing to happen then.
That's literally how it happened.
Yeah, well, I mean, I remember when the principal or whatever had the paddle in their office just hanging up.
Yeah.
With
One of our
drilled holes
coaches,
in it,
when I was in elementary, and he's still working today at Pickering School. He is still one of the PE coaches today. He's taught like 40 years, I think he said. Would walk up and down the hallway with a paddle stuck in his back pocket.
Yeah.
I think the most intimidating teacher I have at my school is my science teacher.
Yeah.
No names.
Yeah. Don't be dropping no names.
Can't name drop. I forgot.
Okay, but to be fair,
she's taught for like 40 years.
That person has been an intimidating science teacher for a couple of decades in Vernon Parish, and I ended up learning more from her than anybody because I was held to a she held you to a standard,
Right?
You know, it wasn't easy, and she made you learn. You know, so I've all like during the moment I didn't like it, but looking back now, you know, I'm like, God, man, I remember more from her class than I do anybody else.
This is the weird part because I do have a low grade in her class because I hate science so much. I hate it. It's so tedious. It's so boring.
I love science and history. I hated everything else but science and history.
I hate science, and my grade is low in her class. I'm trying to fix it. But like the fact that my grade is so low in her class, but I still know so much is like beyond me.
Yeah.
Because you can have an F in her class and you can still know the entire periodic table.
Let's talk about AI because I'm curious how AI is impacting the educational system. Yeah. So what is it like in school now? Because I mean, and just a little context. I mean, you know, I was working my job. I think I was a customer success manager in like 2021 or 2022 when GPT-4 came out, and it was like it was so new. I was kind of on the like before everyone kind of started using it and all that. I started using it. I'm like, man, you know, at that point it could write you, you know, whatever, and nobody would really realize that it was AI, you know. But now I think we've all gotten to the point where we've seen so much AI stuff that now I wouldn't have it write an email for me because it's obvious.
It's obvious.
Just from the pattern.
Easily identified.
Even the frontier models, like even the best models now, it is, you could tell. I mean, if you use it to kind of supplement your own stuff, that's where I think it's still very powerful as a supplement to say, okay, let me, you know, have it help you brainstorm and speed up your creative process, but don't have it do all the work for you. And so our teachers kind of like, I would hope that they're starting to kind of include that in the workflow because kids are going to do this.
Yeah.
They're going to use it. So you need to adjust your curriculum. Yeah, I mean, I think at that point
what's a card catalog?
Yeah.
I think at that point you raise the bar and you say, okay, it's no longer just an essay. Like I want you to use AI, but I want you to, you know, delve deeper on this. I don't know how that looks.
I mean, okay, there's a lot of kids that have the potential to be good. It's okay. I only use I'm incriminating myself here. I only use AI for math and science because I hate math and science and I don't understand either of them. But for everything else, I try not to use it. But the thing is when I don't want to read a book for a book report, I'll tell it to give me like a 3-paragraph essay on the book, and I will reword every single sentence to make it sound like I wrote it. And
you better hope your teachers don't listen to this.
Doesn't that count as cheating?
Essentially, you're like outlining kind of, I mean, try that next time. Say, give me an outline. Have it help you work on it from a structural standpoint.
And we do have to, in English class, we do have to do outlines before we write our essays. And I'm doing a research paper on Stephanie Meyer. And I have not used AI yet. I'm just kidding. I won't use it. But
well, okay, for purposes of your grade, you can't use AI right now because you have no electronic devices.
Anyways, but I don't think I use AI a lot because I'm a skilled writer in that sense. But I use it sometimes ish. I feel like it's just affected the fact that it makes people lazy. Mm-hmm. And it makes a lot of kids lazy in my grade, and it just like disencourages them from actually wanting to like go into more depth when they're writing, and they'll just tell AI to give them like a paragraph. And it's like you're taking away the whole point of the project.
Yeah, you don't have an opportunity to learn anything because you're just telling it what you want, and it gives you the results that you're asking for. You don't have to work for anything anymore.
Yeah, and I think we should talk about how these models work too, because I think it's important for people to understand, because I see so many people misusing it and they don't really understand how it works. So, I mean, I see people citing, you know, AI answers on things on Facebook or social media.
Yeah, there's a couple of activist groups around who their only responses to anything are AI generated. They can't think for themselves.
Yeah, and you know, the models are getting better, but they're still, you could think of AI like a very sophisticated autocorrect. Okay, so when they train these models, they have these things called tensors, and the data that the model's trained on flows through these tensors, and it's like these layers. And I'm trying to like condense it down to something.
Yeah, I was
that's
like,
not
Greg,
too
don't talk
technical.
over me now.
I know, but like, but it's a probability model essentially of the data that it's trained on. So it doesn't know things that aren't in its training data. It doesn't really think. It's an like I said, a very sophisticated autocorrect. So if you have new events or things that aren't in the zeitgeist of the internet or the data that it was trained on, then it's not going to know about those things.
That's correct.
And it tends to hallucinate, and especially so like they're what we call non-deterministic. So the output that you get from it will be different every time, right? And that's part of the good thing for creative purposes.
Well, it also depends on who is asking it because it gets to know you.
Right.
Yeah.
Because when I very first tapped into it, I'd asked this question, and I guess I probably didn't really understand the way that it worked. And I asked it this question. I just wanted it to summarize something for me, and it gave me this very askewed answer, like leaning one way. And so I answered it back, and I was like, okay, this is not a collective whole. That is inconclusive data, and I'm telling it, I was like, I don't want a biased answer on this. I want a factual evidence-based answer on this, and blah,
And
blah,
it
blah, blah, blah.
completely changed.
Completely changed the answer. But ever since I told it that, it never leans one way or another.
Right.
And
Yeah.
to go back to the whole school view of AI, there's like a bunch of teachers they'll accuse me of using AI with my writing because I use the Oxford comma. I've always used the Oxford comma, and I will continue to do so. But AI uses it, and it's like slowly going away. And then
It's the same with the M dash, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I used the M dash before AI,
Yeah.
which is really annoying to me because now I can't.
yeah, because
use
if
it
you
because it-
put an M dash now, they're like, why are you using AI?
Yeah,
and that's
it's
a
like-
crazy thing. It's like your teacher should not be going off of an Oxford comma or an M dash to say that your work is AI. That's crazy.
And my English teacher doesn't. She's like really cool about that because I talked to her about it, and I was like, hey, I just want you to know I'm not using AI for my writing. I've always used the Oxford comma. I've always used an M dash. Like I've always used semicolons, like stuff like that.
But you know the proper context in which to use them, which is
Yeah.
uncommon.
Yeah.
And something you should know too. So back to the like deterministic versus non-deterministic thing. So math is deterministic, meaning that there's one answer that's correct, like for a given math problem. 1 + 1 is 2. It's
Right.
always 2.
Always.
It's not
Right.
sometimes 3 is not sometimes 0. It's always 2. So that's called determinism. It's deterministic. So these models are non-deterministic, and they've gotten better. Like they've done things to kind of skew these models so that they're better at math. And now a lot of the frontier models can do math very well, but I would be careful about using it for math because it tends to hallucinate with numbers.
And the thing about that is I was never good at math ever.
Same. I'm terrible
I
at
hate
math.
I despise math. Oh my gosh, it's the worst thing ever. I hate it so much.
Well,
'Cause-
I done pretty good until they started adding freaking letters into it. And you
okay,
just
that's the thing. I'm great at algebra, but I am absolute cheeks at geometry.
cheeks.
That's that's some of that Gen Z slang. Yeah,
But-
she's bad at I was not good at geometry either.
I just don't
was
get
just-
it.
Yeah.
Why do I have to tell you how I know it's a triangle?
Look at it.
Well,
I don't disagree with that.
and I was thinking about that the other day. It's like a lot of these things that I learned, I was good at geometry and trigonometry and stuff back then, but I don't remember any of it. And now, like when I work in CAD, and I actually need to use some of that knowledge, and I don't remember it. So I have to Google, the geometric equation or whatever for what I'm trying to do. But like, I think in our education system, we have to start trending towards, especially now with AI, we need to just start trending towards the end goal of what we're teaching this for, not just like, okay, we're learning algebra, we're learning how to plot nonlinear equations. It's like,
That whole thing bothers me because I graduated high school, memorized the Pythagorean theorem, which by the way, I've not used one time since I've left
A
high
squared
school.
plus B squared equals C squared.
But I've never used it. I've done a lot of different jobs and I've never used it. But when I graduated high school, I didn't know what interest rates were, didn't have knew nothing about a credit score, didn't know anything about taxes.
Well, and that's the problem is they teach you all this crap, for a lack of better terms, that you'll never use again, odds are, in your life. They don't teach you how to figure your taxes. They don't teach you how to balance a checkbook.
I just feel like there should be a course for that. No, I did get taught that. That was in civics, I believe.
That wouldn't have been in civics. That should have been like financial math or something like that.
Something like that. But I think there should be a course.
Yes.
About
basic life skills.
Well, I think what they're doing is weeding you out. So like they're kind of putting the cart before the horse in a way and saying, okay, if you're good, if you can get through this calculus class, if you can whatever, like you'll be able to go to college and be an engineer. But like, who says you want to be an engineer? And nobody's told you about what being an engineer really means.
Correct.
Yet,
Correct.
Unless you're one of those kids. I mean, some of the kids already start figuring it out pretty young, start making robots, and they start to put the pieces together of the big picture of why they would need these skills.
Right.
And me at 29, I'm just starting to put the pieces together of the things that, and now I'm like, man, I wish that trigonometry course were still as fresh on the brain.
Yeah, that would have been helpful, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like, right before report cards came out most recently, I cried to mom and I was like telling her, I was like, why do I need to know what cytokinesis is when I don't know how to do taxes? Why do I need to tell my science teacher how I know a cell is dividing when I don't know how to up my credit score?
Yeah.
Why?
I think there is a whole, but it's not the teacher's fault.
Yeah,
that's
no, it's
the
not.
thing. It's not the
It's not her
teacher's fault. It's just the way the education system is set up. So I do think there should be some more basic things in there, but I don't think we're in the minority.
And in junior high, we had like these extracurricular classes at the end of the day, like last hour. And it was art, and it was like we had 2 life skills classes with my history teacher and my junior high science teacher. And she taught us how to write a check. She taught us how to do discounts, like in the store. Mm-hmm. Like if it said 70% off, she taught us how to do the math law on that, like on a piece of paper. Which,
by the way, probably didn't stick because she was asking me yesterday to get my calculator out.
Sorry. She taught us, don't fry me on this, Mr. Brandon, but I forgot how to read a clock, and she retaught us how to do that.
A real, like an actual clock, not a digital. So
I'm going to say that's not your fault.
I learned it in kindergarten.
That's not your fault because everything is digitally. I mean, everything is given to y'all nowadays.
That's the difference. Like there's so much now, that, and then like with us, I feel like we're the go-between because they're teaching us new stuff and we're teaching it to our parents. Because they have no idea what's going on, or our grandparents because they're like completely lost in this digital world, completely lost. But that brings me to the next point that the generation before us and this generation and the generations before us, I think we're less tough, obviously, than them, but like they are not tough like we are.
They don't have to be.
Well, and to me, it's because
they need to be, but they don't have to be.
But to me, it's because they like took away dodgeball and Red Rover.
Let me tell you about dodgeball. I got smoked in the face with a basketball yesterday, right there.
Why was there a basketball?
Why were you in? Why what?
I didn't dodge quick enough, apparently.
Well, that's
also,
not
if
a
you get hit in the
dodgeball.
head, you're not out. That's always been.
I was almost out. He knocked the hell out of me with that basketball.
Well, I just think that now it's like, oh, they can't. Okay, for instance, I'm not saying this is a bad idea, but used to we just out in the field playing baseball.
Yeah, kickball. We love playing kickball.
Kickball's awesome.
They have to wear full face masks now.
Really?
They have to wear full face masks now.
We were at softball practice the other day, and I love both my coaches. They're awesome, but I'm an outfielder. I don't have a face mask. If I get hit in the face,
it's your own fault.
Boo-hoo.
You can see it coming. Get out the way.
I should get under it with my glove and catch the ball. If I get hit in the face, that's on me. But they put me at shortstop for some reason. But they were like, Paisley, where's your face mask? And I was like, I don't have one. And then they were like, well, we can't hit balls to you at shortstop if you're not wearing a face mask. And I was like, why? And
just tell them to hit it somewhere else then.
Right. And it was like, we went back and forth, and I had to use the team face mask, but I genuinely don't
She has a face mask now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to use the team face mask either.
Nobody uses it but me. or now I have my own face mask, but like in the outfield, I don't wear a face mask. And I was catching the other day. I was catching at the last practice, and nobody had any catcher's gear with them. Whoop-de-doo. Doesn't matter. If I get hit with the ball, I should have caught the ball. Like,
I mean, you're not wrong.
I think that is fair in the shortstop, in like the infield positions. Because, man, like when I was in Anacoco, we'd be in PE or at track practice or whatever afterward and just, see a softball girl get clocked in the face with get carted off. It's like,
Back when I was playing, I played baseball. How old was I? It was summer league ball. I can't remember. Anyway, we played, I think it was Hicks. And the little pitcher, it was one of our guys, hit the ball and drilled him right in the windpipe. I mean, a line drive, whop, like a sack of rocks. He hit the ground. He got right back up and we went back to playing.
Yeah.
There was no face masks.
No. They rubbed some dirt on it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Whenever I was catching Thursday, I only had, they made me put my helmet on even though I didn't want to.
Well, a baseball bat to the dome was...
Yeah.
They made me put on my helmet, but I didn't have any body gear on. I got hit in the stomach with a pitch, and
same.
I was like, everybody was like, Paisley, are you okay? And I was like, yeah.
I had to wear, when I played, I was like, I guess the only left-hand batter in Vernon Parish, which is stupid because I'm right-handed, but I bat left-handed. I don't know. But I had to wear basically a belt around my ribs with a piece of metal in it right here because they would drill me in the ribs every time because I was the only left-handed. I guess they didn't know how to pitch to lefties.
It does throw you off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that there's been a lot of, and I'm not saying anybody was right or wrong, but like the seatbelt wasn't mandatory in the car until like the 70s, 60s or 70s. There used to be no car seats. Like the babies in the car just
just sit in the back. Oh well,
chilling in the back,
or that are laying up on the back deck. Remember the back? Slam on the brakes and throw them down on the
throw them down on the floorboard. Yeah.
Do you remember you riding in the front seat and your mama would slam on the brakes and she'd put her hand like that was going to do something?
She still does that. Mom still does that. Like somebody cut her off the other day and like she hits on the brakes and she goes.
Yeah, it's the mom arm. Yeah. It's the mom arm. It's an instinct. So, I think that it is safer. I just think we've made people less tough, because they didn't have to get through it.
They didn't have to kiss the windshield.
Yeah.
In our defense, there have been many nosebleeds in our PE. One of them was because of dodgeball, but it wasn't from a dodgeball. So there's this kid.
Y'all are still allowed to play dodgeball? I thought they done away with that.
Not after this incident. We're not. Oh. Because the PE teacher we had last year was forbade us from playing dodgeball, but the sub did not care. So the sub was like, yeah, y'all can play dodgeball, whatever. So one of my good friends had his arm out, doing something with his arm. And this guy's buff. He body builds, this boy is 220 pounds, he's big. And he's got his elbow out. I think he's about to throw a ball or something. And one of the kids wasn't looking. And he runs straight into this kid's elbow. Oh. And his nose goes like that. His nose is like a hook. And he had to wear one of those Batman masks for 6 months.
Broke his nose.
And he didn't cry. He walked to the office with blood pouring down his face. He walked to the nurse. And he had to wear one of those.
That makes my eyes water just thinking about that.
Paisley got hit in the eyeball with the Frisbee last year. If y'all remember that, she had a black eye.
I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, she had a black eye for several days over that. And it was just a little bitty, when she came out, it was just red right here. And then her eye turned black the next day. And I was like, oh my God, people are going to think I punched her in the face.
No, because I was minding my own business. And I'm talking to my friends about a serious topic about one of our other friends that we were worried about. And this kid goes, Paisley, watch out. And I whip around to see who said that. And literally the instant I turned around, I got hit right there with one of those thick Frisbees.
You'd have been better off just to let it hit you in the back of the head.
Yeah, should have just let it hit in the back of the head.
I don't want a concussion.
I think you'll be all right.
The Frisbee's going to give you a concussion.
Yes.
So, what's lost with this generation?
A lot.
The house phone.
Oh, the house phone. There was nothing more satisfying than to getting pissed off at somebody going, clang. Clang. You can't do that now. It's just not the same.
Did you have a house phone?
Yeah, we did. And I was going to say, I have debated, because Ubiquity, all the unified networking equipment and stuff that I have, all of the cameras, all that sort of stuff, they have the physical phones that you can get. And I'm thinking about putting those.
Yes.
Yeah. Because and now they're they're dope. Like you can, once you plug them into your network, you can like select your phone number and stuff through the same dashboard. Have your security cams on.
Wow.
And all that. And so like just as a means of getting away, you know, from the cell phone, it's a little bit ironic because some of the stuff that I do, well, a lot of the stuff that I do, like the home assistant automations and stuff that run in here and all of that is like more tech. And you'd think it would be like annoying, you know, like because you're like going deeper down the tech rabbit hole. But it's actually the opposite. It's like I'm automating things so that I can get away from it, so I don't have to think about it.
Right.
You know.
Well, and it's also like a surreal feeling that you would like to have a life without a cell phone because it's so normal. You know, it's just been normalized so much.
Whenever you worked at the radio station, there
Oh,
was
I'll tell him. I'll tell him. So it never occurred to me that she was not familiar with how a landline worked. Okay. So when I was at the radio station, the phone was set up because the recording studios are in the back. So you don't want any noise being made back there because there's 4 recording studios back there. So the phone was set up to ring like the first 3 times in the front. If it rang more than 3 times, because there's a light that blinks in the back if the phone's ringing. But if it rings more than 3 times, it will ring in the back. So we're sitting at the studio one day, and I don't remember why nobody answered the phone in the front. But I'm in my studio doing the news, and Paisley's in the studio behind me.
Mind you, I'd already gotten in trouble like a bajillion times that day for touching stuff.
Yeah, probably. So I put her in there with the computer and stuff. She's probably watching movies. She's got it dark in there. Well, the phone rings, and it does its thing, and it rolls to the ringers in the back so that somebody answers the phone. Well, I turn around, and Paisley's on the phone. And I'm like, I go in there and I'm like, why would you answer the phone?
She's yelling at me.
I'm yelling. And she was like, he called me.
Mind you, it was Galen calling.
It was Galen. There was caller ID on the thing, right? And she's so confused. And I was like, why would you pick up the work phone? He called me. And she's like yelling at me. And I'm not understanding what she's
like,
saying.
I'm the receptionist here now.
And I'm like, Paisley, I'm not understanding why you would pick up the phone. You don't work here. And she's just yelling back at me, he called me. And I'm like, and I didn't understand. And it finally clicked for me that she thought that the phone was ringing in that office
For her.
Because she did not know how landlines worked. So she thought Galen knew she was in that office and called some sort of special phone number to get her specifically, and that she was supposed to answer because it was ringing in there. And then I go to the front, you know, and there was a guy that worked for us. He was like 22. And I was like, did y'all have a home phone? And he was like, no. And I was like, so you never had a home phone your entire life? And he was like, no. He was like, actually, when I started working here is when I figured out how phones on the landline worked. I was like, oh my God. And I felt so old. But Paisley was so confused. And I did end up apologizing for that.
She did
I was
apologize.
like, I'm sorry.
Like, whenever we were like yelling back, I wasn't yelling at Mom trying to be disrespectful, but she wasn't listening to me. I was so confused in that moment, and Mom was not like picking up what I was putting down. So I'm crying while trying to make her understand my mindset. And then she comes back in there and she's like, I had no idea you did not know how a landline worked.
And it never dawned on me because we never had one.
It was just more of that stuff that we take, I guess, for granted.
Yeah.
Have you ever used a rotary dial?
I know how to do it, but I've like never actually used one. But I know
my
how
grandmother
to do it.
had those because she couldn't
my grandma
hear.
did.
So.
All up until just a few years ago, she had a rotary dial. And the only reason my mother put another phone in the house was because lightning struck the box outside and fried her rotary dial phone.
So we also had one in my grandpa's room that was the pickup and put to your ear and had the microphone.
Oh, the old
We had, and it was a rotary dial on there, but it was there, and there was a little pin pad where you would make notes and stuff, and it would. But I know you don't know what I'm talking about. I'll have to show you. But hanging on the side of the box was the ear part, and you would pick it up and you would put this to your ear
and talk into the.
And there was a microphone on the phone, so they weren't connected, but you would hear and talk. I'll have to show you. I know it's weird. It's a weird concept, but I was obsessed with that phone. I love talking on that phone. I love talking. But in the house phones, we would have like 30-foot cords before the cordless phones come out, because you would have to walk around the house. You remember that? Mm-hmm. Having to do that. And then imagine this. You want to call your friend, right?
And your mom can pick up the phone from the other room and listen.
That and what if your friend's mom answers the phone and you gotta like you gotta ask for your friend. Can I talk to Emma? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that was the weirdest. Like if somebody had like a butthole dad or something, like, and your whole time praying their dad doesn't answer the phone. Please let it be the mom. Please let it be the mom. You know.
I remember watching, I don't know, have you ever watched Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Okay, so that one scene where Mike was on the phone with Elle and his mom was like listening in from the kitchen and he goes, Mom, get off the phone. And he's like yelling at her because she keeps like talking in their conversation.
So do y'all remember when three-way was invented, or was it already a thing when you came about?
Like where you could patch someone else in?
Yeah. That was already a thing?
I think so, yeah.
Man, we set up so many people when we were younger. That it was terrible. It really was terrible. And then call waiting was not a thing. So if you were on the phone and somebody was calling, it just gave you a boop, boop,
Yep.
boop.
Busy signal.
Until you hung up and they could call back. So there was no call waiting.
I remember when Star 69 came out. Everybody thought that was the coolest crap in the world.
You run up your parents' phone bill and you didn't know it cost 50 cents every time you
done it.
Star 69. Oh my gosh.
I think my friend did that to somebody once in a basketball game, and my mom was sitting behind us, and mom was like, you know that charges to your parents' phone bill, right? And my best friend was like, what?
Yeah, it charges every time you use it. So
Got really into prank calls at one point. I would prank call Taco Bell and McDonald's, and
Then they came out with Star 69 and that stopped.
Greg was a menace.
no, that's when it's really started, because you could call them privately. Yeah, nobody would know.
Greg was a menace, and we didn't even know this whole time.
Yeah, Star 69 call Taco Bell and just harass the employees that are making minimum
Do y'all
wage.
remember? You may
Terrible.
not. They may have stopped it by then. Do you remember calling the Vernon Bank and getting time and temperature?
You can still do that
Can
for
you
the
really?
bank in DeRitter.
238-0381
Yeah.
was the phone number.
You can still.
You dial that number and it answers, and all it does is tells you the
Speaking of
time
phone
and the temp.
numbers,
And that's
yeah.
it.
Speaking of
Does
phone
anybody do
numbers,
that?
yeah, Galen calls it all the time in DeRitter.
I have a weather station out here that I just put up.
No, Galen calls the number.
Yep. You would call
But
it. Was
he could see
238-0381.
He could
was to the
open it
Vernon
on his
Bank.
phone, but he would rather call the bank in DeRitter. Mm-hmm. So
That's weird.
do you know any of your people's phone numbers?
I know your phone number. I know Galen's phone number. I know. That's it.
Do you remember like your old numbers or anything?
I remember a few of them.
I've had the same phone number since I was
I know my
8
phone
years
number.
old or 10 years old, or whenever I first got like a Motorola Razor.
No, that was your first phone?
Yeah, I think
Oh my
so,
God, he
yeah.
didn't even
Think
make
I-
it through the Nokia phase.
No, actually, no. I take it back. I did have a Nokia.
Yeah.
I would
Bar
play
phone?
Snake on that thing. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the
you
best
played
phones
Snake
ever.
on it.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
You could run over that phone with a bulldozer and
it
pick
still
it up
worked?
and call time and temp, and it worked just fine.
Phone stayed charged for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah. And it was perfect self-defense. You could knock somebody out
Yeah,
with it. I mean,
absolutely.
it was just a solid
I was
block.
like, what do we need a phone case for this for?
Oh man, we thought we were in high cotton when we got the Motorola, the Razor, Crazer.
my
I would get the
gosh.
hand-me-downs from mom and dad, when they would upgrade.
Yeah.
And I remember I got the Crazer at one point, it was the thinner
The little
Razor.
narrow, yeah.
And I would just like be on the trampoline jumping, like on the ringtone store, like listening to Apple Bottom Jeans, like a 30-second clip, on
15-second ringtones.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Crazy.
So maybe Greg missed this. Do you remember when you would record your voicemail and you would put you would have to wait for a song to come on the radio and then tell
Have it in the
everybody to be
background?
quiet for it to be in the background, and you would have to hold your phone up to the speaker, and then come in it was.
I never did that.
Oh
Okay,
my gosh.
I have a question. How do you burn a song into a CD?
Illegally.
Yeah, I know
That's called piracy.
Yeah, I know that's illegal, but
So there used to be a website called Napster.
Yeah.
That was the first one that came out, and they got sued. And then there was one called LimeWire.
LimeWire would
Kazaa-
eat you up with viruses.
Yeah, Kazaa was one as well. But you would go on these websites and you would type in what you would want to get. And you would download the song to your computer. Plot twist, when you downloaded the song to the computer, it would take days.
It could, yeah.
Days. It would you would pick 50 songs you wanted to download,
That
and
would
you
be
would just
days.
leave them
Yeah.
there overnight. And then the next day when you got home from school, they would be downloaded or they wouldn't, depending on how your internet was set up. By that time, we had our own internet line, phone line. So when people called, it wouldn't kick you off the internet. So then you would be able to download. And then it got to where it was 18 hours or 7 hours or something like that. But it was never instantaneous like y'all stuff is now.
Yeah, you hit
Never.
a button and it's done.
So then you would open iTunes or whatever program you're using, and then you would realize that you were out of blank CDs. So you'd go down to Walmart, stop at Taco Bell on the way, you know, and then you'd buy a bunch of blank CDs, go back, put it in your disk drive, select the songs you had downloaded, and you know,
Man,
like,
hope
what was
it
it,
weren't
like
a
20?
virus.
Was it
Hope it
like
wasn't a
20 at a
virus.
time?
Yeah,
A CD
depending
would
on
only
how
hold,
big
like-
the CD was. Yeah. And then you would like a lot of them, because they were trying to fight the anti-piracy laws. It would be like in the middle of the song, it'd be like DJ D-Rex, you know, and they would like, because they were trying to beat the piracy laws because Napster was getting sued. Or you would just download these songs and you would hope and pray to God that they weren't viruses.
And most of them were on LimeWire.
So you would write, it was called, you had to get the CDs that were RW, so you could read off of
writable.
them and write. They were writable. And then you would pick all the songs that you wanted. And I don't know about y'all, mine had to be in a particular order, depending on the vibe. And then you would write on the CD, like what vibe you were feeling or whatever, you know. Nobody ever knows, like, it would be like Jessica's mix. No telling what was on that. None. I don't know where all those CDs went. In a landfill somewhere, I'm sure.
Y'all were desperate.
Yeah, and your sisters would spend 6 hours in their room just like making CD art, you know, and then you put them in your CD sleeves.
Oh, didn't y'all at the public schools? Didn't y'all used to put those like paper covers on your book and draw on them?
And we made them out of brown paper bags.
Brown
Yeah.
paper bags, yeah.
I just
yeah.
remember you told me about that once.
I don't think it was a public school thing. I think it was just a. So what they would do is they would do that to deter you from writing on or in the books.
Right.
That way, it would give you like the
books could
creative
be reused.
outlet to do that on the brown paper rather than do it on anything else. But also, the books we got used to come with this film that would come off so easy.
Ours
so
does too.
I think it was more of to keep because books are really expensive. So, you know, that was a thing too.
Does the book still have the little cards or the place in them that everybody would write their name and the year that they was there?
Last book I saw that did that was Miss. Never mind, I can't name drop. My Spanish teacher. My Spanish teacher's book that she gave all of us from like 2000s.
I remember going through there and looking, oh, I know this person. And you thought that was the coolest thing in the world.
I remember she gave us a book, and the person that had it before me was a person I really did not like, and I never touched that book.
Yeah. Oh, well, it was kind of cool the other day because I saw somebody that posted one and her daughter
I saw
had
it.
gotten her book. But it was cool because in between her daughter getting her book, Galen's daughter's name was on there.
Ah,
And I was just like, oh, how cool is that? You know, so they, you know, it was kind of cool, you know, but.
Do you realize too now that like, you know, our parents, grandparents, I mean, we don't have that many pictures of like, you know, mom and dad in their childhood growing up. I mean, we have some, but like we're going to have our entire lives like documented
digitally.
I mean, our kids are going to be able to see 4K
I think
video
about that,
of
like-
their parents, you know, like
Yes.
what they were like. That's a pretty neat thing.
Well, and now, like for me, with the podcast, when I'm thinking about content or thinking about what we're going to do, you know, because I have people that I want to bring on in the future after we're done with our civic focus segment, and I just there are people that I wish I had gotten to interview, like, and I didn't. I wish I had had more stuff with my grandpa. I wish I had had more stuff with my grandmother, you know, so that I would have some sort of, I would be able to watch them. Because like, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 years from now, you'll be able to go on YouTube and see your mom, you know, but there's no way for me, unless there's I have little snippets of videos with my grandpa, you know, but nothing like this, you know, to be able to hear him, you know, just talking to people, which I wish so badly that I had.
And I think about that all the time because, like, I know I didn't grow up phoneless. Like, you had phones, but they had, like, little small iPhones, like the iPhone, like, 4s.
Yeah, God forbid you had a touchscreen iPhone.
All iPhones are touchscreen. I think you mean the home button iPhone.
No, babe. I'm talking about when we got cell phones, they didn't even have I remember when cameras were invented on cell phones.
That was something else, yeah.
I think about the phone situation all the time, though, because with my niece, like, she's a baby now, but I feel like whenever she grows up, it's going to be normal for her to have, like, good quality pictures.
She'll never know a time in her life that there's not some kind of a
Yeah.
handheld device.
Correct.
And,
Also, why are you wearing socks with sandals?
She's got to go to softball practice after this.
Yeah, my cleats are in the car.
Yeah.
Just curious.
These are they usually either wear the Birkenstocks or the Crocs. That they don't, because walking around in your cleats is super uncomfortable.
After a game, my feet hurt so bad.
Yeah, the cleats are uncomfortable. So, the next question that I have is, or topic that I have, kind of touches on what we did as kids, kind of that was questionable health wise, such as
Lots.
drinking out of the water hose.
Oh.
Have you
Oh,
ever-
I still do that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's something about a fried water hose water, like
Oh, and that mother be hot in the summertime too. I'm talking slip the hide off. You got to let that water run a little while.
Man, I miss. So like, at the house that I grew up in, was on VFW Road there in Leesville, and that's at the top of a hill, like 330 feet elevation or whatever. And we had a well, and because it was so high elevation, you had to drill pretty deep, 300-foot well or something to get water. But that was the best tasting water.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So good. You drill a well over here on Hawthorne, and it's just like trash water. It tastes like sulfur. I don't know if you can you have them just come out and drill a well longer than like
you can, just depending on how much you want to pay.
It's very expensive to get a well put down now.
Yeah,
we had
'cause-
one put down a few years ago, and it was $5,000.
Yeah,
I think it is something like that.
we went to 900 feet at the property, and then it never hit water.
really.
And I think it was going to cost us $1,000 every 100 foot after that. So we just stopped.
We hit water at 60 feet, and we drilled to 200. So we've got 140 feet of water in our pipe, and it's real good water.
Okay,
But it's like I said, I think it was $5,000, something like that.
That's what
for
you
a
want to
2-inch
do.
well.
That's what you want to do. You don't want to stop. Like if you're out here
Right.
at Hawthorne, you don't want to stop at 30 feet when you hit water.
Right.
Like keep going.
Yeah, get down to the
That's
good
gonna be
stuff.
worth it. Yeah, because Anyway,
So when you were growing up, like what was something that you remember, like food wise? I have one in mind, which is the Schwann's truck.
I remember the
Do
Schwann's
you know what the
truck.
Schwann's truck is?
No.
It was the big truck that delivered the frozen
It's
food.
an ice cream truck for grown-ups.
Yeah, it delivered food, and it was like you could get your frozen foods and all
They
that
used
stuff.
to would send out like an order form.
It was the OG DoorDash.
Exactly. Yeah. Bingo. They send out an order form, and you tell it what all you want, and you mail it through the mail back in, and then once a month the truck would come around and bring your order and all to you.
That's correct.
Is that
that's
kind of like
crazy.
the
That's
milkman?
blowing my mind.
Similar.
Similar,
Or
yeah.
were you too young for the milkman?
I don't remember the milkman. There was no milkman when I was. There was a postman though. We had our regular. But that's pretty regular for everybody.
Even still.
Yeah, even still. So, but I think in smaller rural areas, you actually know your mail delivery person.
I know ours very well.
You probably don't know it in big urban areas, but here you're like, oh yeah, that's that's Jennifer, blah blah blah, and you leave them little notes and cards around holidays and stuff, or that's. But I just always thought it was kind of weird, like nowadays you don't see kids drinking out of water hoses. You don't, like.
In their defense, the water that we have is pretty garbage nowadays.
Well-
I wouldn't drink city water.
There's one.
I grew up on well water,
And I say city water, I don't mean like Leesville water. I mean public water in general. It's just garbage.
I don't have a problem with my water. But I don't drink out of the tap anyway. I drink out of just bottles.
I've been
Yeah.
drinking out of the
filtered.
tap.
Not me.
I like sink water.
Yeah,
Sue me.
Paisley loves some sink water.
Oh, not me.
But one food/drink I remember specifically from my childhood was those Kool-Aid jammers with the twist off tops
Yep.
and the hugs, the
Yeah.
little barrels.
I remember the hugs.
I liked those and the SpongeBob ice cream things. That
Yeah,
you got,
the eyes are never straight.
You either get no eyes, you get one eye, or the eyes are all the way over here, and the circles for the eyes are all the way over there.
Yeah, that the mold is never correct. So
Never
it's
correct.
pretty bad.
And then the bubblegum eyeballs would be like they would break your teeth. They would almost break your teeth.
Well, whose ingenious idea was it to start with to put freaking bubble gum on ice cream? It's like eating pea gravel.
Sue me, but I eat gummy bears in my ice cream.
Yes, she does. They'll be frozen solid too, and I don't understand it. But you know what I miss from, and she's not going to know anything that we're talking about. Do y'all remember the Viennetta ice cream? Viennetta ice cream. Hold on, I'm going to pull up a picture because Brandon, you'll know what it is. Okay, so back in the day, if you had this ice cream, you were rich. I mean, you were like, it felt like
See,
a
I always
delicacy.
thought like Briars was high end.
Briars?
Yeah.
No, Bluebell was high end. Briars?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Bluebell is just everyday ice cream to me.
You have got to remember the commercials for this.
I probably do if I saw
You've
it.
got to remember the
I
commercials.
do remember those.
Okay, so
See?
I'm showing the audience Viennetta is what it's called, and it's.
It looks like
Do you remember when the commercials came out for that?
lasagna.
That was listen. If you had this ice cream, you were rich.
Elite. You were the elite.
You were rich, okay? And I remember the first time I ever got to try it. But there's a whole bunch of stuff now that we had when we were younger that they don't have now.
Well, I just learned like last week that Bluebell's not nationwide. I just thought it was
That's
like,
correct. It's a Southern thing.
Southern
I didn't
thing.
know that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
it is a Southern
Didn't
thing.
y'all have those little French fry type things? They were the circles and the smiley faces.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Wait, we don't have those. That's not cool. We're
yeah.
not-
And we had Dunkaroos.
I remember those.
okay, I had Dunkaroos and they were good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't. They were really good back in the day. There's been a lot of stuff that was discontinued. Do you remember the 3D Doritos? Mm-hmm. Man, those were so good. You don't remember those? Greg's like, no, I was eating good. I wasn't eating bad stuff. I mean,
My mom was like serious
And
about
then y'all
health
had
when I was
the-
young.
yeah. Well, that makes sense though because his dad's a doctor, so it's a
yeah.
little bit different for us than it is for him.
And then y'all had the Trapper Keepers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trapper Keepers have made a comeback. Lisa Frank was a thing back in the day. It was a fun time to be alive. Now I can tell you because the statute of limitations is off. I don't think the statute of limitations. I don't think there's anything my parents could do about it now. But the amount of times that we were unsupervised with alcohol was insane.
Yeah.
Did you do that?
Yes, he did. Don't say you didn't, Greg.
No, I actually. So my mom, I think, my mom when I was like 4 converted to the Mormon church and stopped drinking. But before that, it was like.
No, I'm talking about with teenage years.
No, even teenage years, I didn't really.
Really?
No,
No,
because
I
we
went
didn't
to-
have alcohol in the house. Really,
I went to a birthday party one night. That's when we were living in Lake Charles. And this is, I mean, it like people say this all the time. It really actually happened. Passed out in a field, like drunk.
That happened a lot.
No cell phones,
No.
no evidence.
No evidence.
I didn't sleep there, obviously. I just remember like I had to lay down because the room was spinning. And then I'm like, yeah, I got to go lay down on somebody's bed. And I think I was at some girl named Dakota's house. And I didn't even really know these people that well. Why we were all drinking, and I couldn't have been 14 years old,
It didn't matter.
wasted. And it's just like, that
I remember
would never happened now.
Back in high school, it's closed now, and this was after you remember Mr. Charlie Driver owned New Lano Plaza. Well, he sold it and got out of the business, and these other people bought it, and you could go there and buy anything. It didn't matter how old you was. Go in there and use.
There's certain stores you can do
You
that
can
now.
still do that. You could take and put your whatever it was up on the counter. There was no questions asked. If you had money, they'd sell it to you.
Yeah, I mean, that
So,
was just the way it was back then.
Friday afternoons after school, you could not get in the door of that place because all the high school kids was in there getting all their alcohol for
Yeah.
the weekend.
I
Yeah.
mean, I've never really gotten drunk, but I remember last year Mom yelled at me because when she wasn't looking, I stole some of her wine cooler.
Yeah, I was at the lake, and I was like, don't do that. Don't like. Don't do, and literally at her age, I had literally already been passed out in the field drunk.
Come find us at Mayfest. We'll fix you.
Oh yeah. And then
No, we won't.
I was at my dad's one weekend.
It's a snow cone, I promise.
So, do y'all feel like with media and TV, do y'all feel like were y'all like heavily censored? So at my house, if it was not rated G when I was growing up at my grandparents' house, I was not allowed to watch it. Were y'all censored like that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, but like, I just watch whenever I want when my mom and dad leave.
Yeah.
I had the internet.
Yeah.
Mom doesn't
I didn't.
censor what I watch.
I didn't have satellite TV till I was in the 8th grade. I had channel 5 and 7. So
Oh, no, I mean, we had satellite, but, there was just, now I always find it weird though, because like the news to me was way worse than anything they would let me watch.
especially nowadays.
Like it was, because back then we didn't have the technology for delays. So
Right.
I remember, this is a true story. Somebody can research it if they want to. I don't know what year it was.
Do your research.
Do your own research. I was watching TV with my grandma, they've got this standoff situation going on. There was no delays. When they said it was live TV, it was live right there, happening in the moment, blah, blah, blah. And I watched a guy commit suicide on live TV, and I could not have been like 8 or 9 years old. And it was very clear what had just happened. And, but there were so many of those instances where stuff would happen on live TV, and they would just turn the camera off or, look away or something. But the damage was already done. Like now they have means of removing that stuff and blah, blah, blah. But literally, it's the same thing with 9/11. How old were you when 9/11 happened? 6?
5.
I think. Okay.
I was a junior in high school.
I was alive.
I was a sophomore in high school. And I remember, so this was in high school. There was a thing at the time. I don't know how it was funded or whatever. It was called Channel 2 News.
Yep.
And every morning you would get to go in your first hour class, and they would have Channel 2 News. And every school had it in every room, and you got to watch like an update. It was kind of getting high schoolers involved in what was going on in the world. And in a very muted version, not like an adult version. It was for kids. And anyway, I remember one of my teachers walked in, said something to her teacher. This was when the plane had struck the first tower. So a few hour or so later, however long later, teacher comes back in. They turn on the TV in the classroom. They never turned on the TV in the classroom. And we're watching, and the second plane hits the second tower live while we're all at school. And that was I remember just whoa.
Yep.
That was it was the same thing with luckily I think they've probably been able to take it off the internet with Charlie Kirk. It's the same thing happened with him when he was shot. I was not expecting to see what I saw, and it was and those things do happen, but back then it happened.
You saw it.
And you saw it, and there was no delay, there was no censorship or anything. It just happened.
I remember, I think it was like computer lit or keyboard. It was some computer class we was in, and somebody run in and said that the first plane had just hit the building.
Yeah.
We all got up. I don't know why we done it, but we all got up because every classroom had a TV in it. But we all got up and we ran down the hallway to the biology room. It was a big lab and had a big giant TV and everything. Turned it on and watched the second plane hit the building.
Yeah, I called my grandma after that.
Well,
Bro, I don't know what's going on. Come get me.
It wasn't long after that, people started getting checked out of school.
Yeah.
And I remember my mom and daddy come and pick me up, and I went home, and I don't know why I remember this, but I got on the tractor and was bush hogging. I don't know.
See, I think that's tame compared to what my generation grew up on, like the uncensored internet. I mean, my friends and I would get together for sleepovers and just watch the wildest.
Oh, you can get on there now and just see stuff that
2 girls, 1 cup.
Oh my! Greg, I had almost successfully deleted that from my brain.
Well, it's
things
back.
that just
I forgot all about
12-year-old
that.
should not,
Should not
cartel
see.
beheadings. Just like
Yep.
Cartel beheadings?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
that was a
raw
thing.
on the internet.
On the internet.
Yes.
It was like the darkest.
Yes.
Most depraved stuff that your friends would. It was like almost like the sleepover. You're like, just trying to show out. Oh, who can watch this crazy? Terrible. I mean, people aren't supposed to see that kind of thing.
I feel like the only really bad thing, significantly nationwide bad thing I've seen was Charlie Kirk getting shot, and mom was crying about it, but I didn't really cry because with all the movies I've watched, with all the video games I played, it didn't bother me as much, but it bothered me after I watched it because, it was real. It took me a second to soak in the fact that wasn't a video game.
Right.
That I just watched somebody die.
Oh,
and
you
it was
sweet summer child.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is there was so much stuff on the internet, that
I'm glad that we're at a place now where it's not quite as
correct. It gets
raw.
removed.
Yeah,
if anything's uploaded like that, those kinds of things get removed, et cetera, but at the time, it was, well, and I say that a lot, there's not a lot of things that happen with them, that I feel like, and that's a good thing, that I feel like that we went through, because imagine when you're a kid before us and World War II's going on or this, any of that kind of stuff, they're going through some stuff that these kids have never seen. So 9/11 namely was our traumatic event, that you got to see on live TV. So, and as far as censoring, to me, I've never censored what Paisley watches, and it's funny because she was talking. We were at a pool party one time, and they were talking about a show,
Bridgerton,
and Paisley had commented on it, and Jamie was like, "You let her watch that?" And I was like, "Ask her what she does when the scenes come up that she shouldn't watch."
Oh, I skip that. It's awkward.
She was like, "I'm not watching that. I skipped through that."
Look,
to me,
my youngest daughter won't even watch somebody kiss on TV.
yeah, she's
No, because it's what I don't like it. It's
so-
like,
it's
why
so
am I
cringy
watching
to
this?
her.
It's like,
it's cringy to her. So,
Ew.
and it's funny because I've never like if I feel like something's a little off or something, because I was highly censored as a kid as far as what I could read, what I could watch, and I just always swore I would never carry that on because I feel like, and a lot of my friends give me crap about this. I don't have really a sense of imagination. I wasn't allowed to read Harry Potter. I wasn't allowed to read anything that was fantasy or otherworldly or any of those things. So I'm so literal about everything and so particular about everything. And I grew up watching like The Sound of Music and stuff. And I still love that kind of stuff, but I don't have like, I was not allowed to read things that were otherworldly and I just swore I was never going to do that to her because I feel like it limits your imagination at some point.
Yes.
Like when Greg will be talking
Kind of
about
stifles your creativity.
yes, because he'll be saying stuff and him like, oh yeah, I can do this, and this, right? I can't even imagine that. I can't picture it. I can't, like you brought him that little thing and he just made it. I don't have that. There's nothing there. So I feel like I didn't want to ever be like, you can't read that book. And now, obviously, I don't want to read in smut or anything like that, or, but.
And to be clear, we're talking about 3D printing, like
yeah,
and a square card reader that I, printed for Brandon.
Right. Like that to me, I just can't. I can't conceptualize that in my brain. There's no way for me to imagine that. And I think it did do some irreversible damage. So with her, it's just like, yeah, if you want to watch that, cool. Watch it.
You don't want to stifle, creativity.
I just never,
sense.
I feel like there was a lot of creativity came from a lot of people being able to be into the Lord of the Rings and the Harry Potter. And I think a lot of stuff came from that. Whereas me, I was getting told it was witchcraft. And so it's just like, oh, and everything's like really black-white for me. And there's no
I remember
creative space there.
I forget what year it came out, but y'all remember the movie, The Passion of the Christ. You remember that movie? There were so many people raised sand about that movie, and they refused to. Oh, it's sacrilegious, and I'm like, it's a movie.
right?
It's not real.
It's a movie.
I promise you it's not that serious.
Yeah, it's just
Thank
it
you.
wasn't real.
It's a movie, and they refused to watch it because it was depicting the things that it did.
And
But at the end of the day, it's a movie.
Yeah, it also makes me mad whenever I watch movies with mom because she's so black and white about everything. Because we'll be watching a movie and it'll be this guy and he's like taking down like FBI, like hundreds of FBI agents by himself. Mom's like, that's not real, and I'm like, just watch the movie.
I can't do it. Like that's a true story. We were watching a movie one time, and this girl is like some spy. I don't know what it was. Within the first 15 minutes of the movie, she had killed like 17 huge Russian men, and that we're talking about some 150-pound or maybe 130-pound redhead chick.
It was that movie Ava.
Dallas Bryce Howard. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Like it was so unrealistic to me that I would not watch it.
And then I remember I was like, Mom, you want to watch John Wick? And she was like, no.
No,
Like-
and like I have a friend that's constantly on me. Like he plays D&D, which I've recently learned was Dungeons and Dragons or whatever. And he'll
Hold on,
try.
stop. What did you think it meant?
I don't know. Do not disturb. But I like he'll be trying to like tell me about stuff, and it like he'll send me pictures of it, because it's his thing. He likes it, and I'm just like, to me, the instant, and it's so insulting too. The instant I look at it, I'm like, that's so stupid. Because I have no imagination whatsoever. None.
Well, that's something that you kind of ease into, and you may find that someday you're into something like that you would never think. I mean, I'm not to the point where I'm playing D&D yet, but like I did play Baldur's Gate 3, which is based on D&D, and just kind of on a whim one day, like because it had such good reviews and all that, played this and never thought I would be into game like that, and I mean, even things like history. I mean, we've talked about like Kingdom Come Deliverance too, that, medieval game that I like to play. Now that one's highly historically accurate, like they hired historians to come in and, I mean, they remodeled like these old medieval cities and stuff in the game. And you actually learn about real history while you're playing it,
Huh.
And I've never been into history, but now I'm like, I want to make my own armor, like knight armor set, It's like,
And you have the ability to do it.
yeah.
And,
And
like,
I'm gaining the ability to do it.
Whenever Mom would watch me play The Last of Us, the Red Dead Redemption 2.
Hey, I love Red Dead.
Me too. Me too.
Both of them.
And she would watch me play God of War. Like, she would just be so confused. Like, she would literally, I would play it in the living room, have it connected to the living room TV, and she'd be sitting there like,
I don't know what that was.
We all
neither.
heard that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't see anything.
me neither. She'd be sitting there watching me, and I would just like look, I would glance over at her, and she has the most like skeptical, confused look on her face. And she's like, what? Because in the game, there'd be like a dead body or something, because it's Red Dead, and you go in little outlaw missions. But there would be like a dead body there, and I would just like walk up to it, just like shoot it again with my shotgun. And Mom was like, yeah, I think that's fun. And Mom would just be sitting there, and she would be like, so confused.
It's fun, Jessica.
Yeah, and I think I really do. I'm not upset about it. I just think the way that I was censored it did something to where it's like, this is real, this is not, and I have no concept for imagination things whatsoever.
So when you play Red Dead, do you stay like on the straight and narrow, or are you kind of the outlaw?
she's out. Outlaw.
No, my honor is always low.
Yeah,
Yeah, mine is too.
yeah. Well, and
I rob the hell out of people.
Me too. But I never get caught doing it because I always wear my mask, and I never shoot them. I always like stab them with my knife,
There you
and
go.
then I walk out the back door of the enclosure.
and she, I don't. Greg must be dealing with something over there.
Technical difficulties.
Do we need to stop?
No, you're still on audio.
Okay. So, there was, when Arthur died,
So there's two
she
different.
cried so hard.
To the people who are watching this that have never played Red Dead Redemption before, there's multiple different endings and multiple different ways that the game goes if you have good honor or bad honor. And if you have bad honor, Arthur doesn't die looking at the sun, and he doesn't die peacefully. He dies, and Micah shoots him in the face.
Yeah,
That
happens.
And every time,
all the while he's suffering with tuberculosis.
Yeah, tuberculosis, and he's like,
Yeah.
and he's like wheezing on the ground, and he's like coughing up blood, and Micah just comes up and shoots him in the face, and it's like, what?
Yep.
So I call Mom. Like, no, Mom didn't call Mom. Mom walked
was
in the
home,
house.
yeah.
Mom walked in the house, and I'm bawling
Bawling.
because I know how Arthur dies because I always have bad honor. Like I know how he dies every time. So whenever I replay the game and we get back to that last chapter where we're in that cave, I always restart the game.
You just won't do it.
No. And then I can't do it because he leaves his horse there, and I always have like 5 horses. Like I always have like 5 horses. And I think I have one right now. It's like this black horse. His name is 6'7".
Oh Lord.
I just couldn't come up with a name, and it was just the first thing I thought of.
Yeah.
But like there's so many different endings to that game as to where with The Last of Us.
Have you ever played Red Dead?
I have it in my library, but I haven't really.
Oh,
like-
you just ruined it for Greg then. Okay,
Just
sorry
have-
about
yeah,
that.
No, I wasn't listening. Don't worry.
Just keep your honor up and you'll be
No.
all right.
Yeah.
And then as where with The Last of Us, there's one ending, one way the game goes. Like that's it. Like you just go on missions and you kill zombies, kill people. Like
Yeah, and I
it's
just don't like. I can't even watch a movie. I cannot. I can watch.
She can watch movies based off historical events, like
Yes,
movies like that.
Tombstone. I can
Yeah.
watch documentaries all day long.
Well,
like-
first of all, Tombstone is the greatest movie ever made. And I
Yes.
don't care what nobody says. So
Like Mom can watch stuff like
Why, Ike?
whatever do you mean?
Whatever do you? Does this mean we're not friends?
My wife gets mad at me because when I watch that movie, I'll quote it line for line, word for word.
I
Will
love
you
that
shut up
movie.
and watch the movie?
Yeah, I love that movie. But like, I can watch things like that and documentaries. But if it like anything else, I'm done. I just
Mom can watch that. She can watch The Help. what was that movie? Like
Yeah.
it has something like
The Color Purple?
The Color Purple. She
Yeah.
can watch stuff like that.
Yeah.
She can watch like any movie that wasn't real, but it was based off a historical event.
Right.
Yeah, if
Like,
it
she
was
can-
based off of something real, I'll watch it and I like it.
Oh, brother, where art thou?
That one's not in my repertoire.
Oh,
but
man.
Steel Magnolias is.
I like
The Green
Steel
the Green
Magnolias.
Mile.
I like
The Green Mile,
Mom
like
will
the
watch
Green
it.
Mile.
That's a traumatic movie. No, don't watch that. If you haven't watched that, don't watch that.
Yeah, she watched that not too long ago. What was it, last year?
Yes, and I cried.
She was crying so hard.
No, because he was like,
they killed him.
no, because it wasn't justice. Number one, he was like, don't put that mask on me, boss. I was afraid of the dark, and I was like, I hate this movie.
That's a sad one. That's a sad
Yeah,
movie.
well, when I found out that Forrest Gump was not based on a true story, I was devastated.
Also,
Because I love Forrest Gump. Love Aaron Brockovich, also based on a true story. But it has to have some sort of factual.
Right.
It cannot be too far fetched or I'm out. I don't want to. I'm out of it.
okay, I don't know if y'all have ever watched the movie Norbit with Eddie Murphy.
The movie's so dumb.
Okay, hear me out on this. I was like a week years old when I found out
Years
when I found out that Eddie Murphy played Respucia. I did not know that.
How did you not know that?
I don't know. I thought they just put some lady in a fat suit.
No, that was Eddie Murphy.
Just like
Yeah.
the Nutty Professor. Hell, he played everybody. All the characters were Eddie Murphy.
Well, and I always feel left out because, like, I don't know if y'all ever heard of this movie. Nobody judge me, but like, they thought that movie Kung Pao was hilarious.
Kung Pao is so funny.
I've never heard of it. I
It's
don't remember
so
that.
It's
bad.
like it's
a
okay.
parody.
It's a parody of an actual Chinese movie.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
like this girl, how she cries. It's making
She
fun
goes,
of the
wee, wee, wee. That's how she cries.
And then
it's the worst.
there's
It's-
this one, like,
but I always was like the odd man out because it was never funny to me.
Yeah.
I
know,
thought
like-
that was so funny. And then like there was a scene, it was the first part of the movie. They're kidnapping this baby, and the baby's like, okay, the baby grows up to be the main character, aka the chosen one, but they're trying to kidnap this baby, and this like a 1 month old infant fighting off a grown man.
Yeah, it was. To me, it's just not funny. Now, Step Brothers, hilarious
yeah.
to me, but like it's not
That's,
funny
that's,
to you.
that's Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
He irks my nerves.
That's okay. That's how Galen is, and I'm
I know you
like,
touched my
man,
drum
this
set."
is hilarious. But to other people, it's not funny, and I think it's hilarious.
I think
But it's
Norbit's
the
hilarious.
And I don't. And so I guess it's just a matter of how you were.
I don't
censored or
understand
not.
where your line is. Like, what is
Yeah.
the
I don't wait no dang.
I've tried to figure out too.
like? Do you like? Are you interested at all in like plausible sci-fi? Like,
No,
Oh,
like
mom.
ones that, like Alien. Like I like Alien.
no.
You
Mom?
know, like Contact, that movie from 1997 with Jodie Foster.
Jodie Foster, yeah.
God, we watched that one last night with the parents.
Signs.
Signs.
Mom will not
add
watch
that one to my
Star
list.
Wars. She won't
I've
watch
never
Star
seen
Wars.
See, but
Star
Star
Wars.
Wars is not like might upset some like nerds with this, but like Star Wars is not like plausible. I
Yeah.
mean, it is, I guess. In,
Well, the Star Wars franchise, they beat that horse to death.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's like okay,
Just
if you
like
go,
Fast and the Furious. I
Yes.
don't like those movies.
if you go to the
I have
Star
the same
Wars
problem with Fast and the Furious because mechanically, I'm like, that's not possible.
Right. Well, too, I mean, there's like 17 of them now. And Star Wars, I remember,
what do you mean it's not possible? Hector's going to be running 2 spoon engines.
Yeah, it's
growing up, like I told y'all, I didn't have satellite till we was in 8th grade. So we only had Channel 5, 7, and occasionally 10 if the weather was right. Was it Beaumont or Lafayette? Don't matter. And once a year, they would play Star Wars. But it was just the original, what was it, 2? The original 2? I can't remember.
I know what you're talking about.
And that was it. And now there's like 15 of those. They're
If you
just,
go to the Star Wars section on Disney Plus, you can scroll.
right.
You can just scroll. It's like the Mandalorian. It's like the old Star Wars. It's like the new Star Wars.
Yeah, and
it's
it was what, The Empire Strikes Back
Yes.
and
Clone Wars.
no, that was not even a thing.
No, I'm sorry. Not no. Attack of the Clones was number 5.
I don't know.
I know Revenge of the Sith was 3.
I quit watching them after
Revenge of the Sith
Empire
was
Strikes
3,
Back.
which was the last of.
I haven't seen none of
And
the
that
new
was
ones.
whenever Anakin turned to the dark side and he became
Yeah.
Darth Vader.
Yeah,
that one was that movie was a big deal because it was like that came out in what, like 04 or something like that, you know. And I
don't
remember
know.
we went to theaters to
I
see
haven't
that one,
clue.
and it was much higher
the theater.
tech, you know.
The last movie I saw in the theater. No, this is not me unfactual. I've been to theater once since then. Me and my wife went and watched. I forget what it was when we was in Nashville. We went and saw a movie, but before that, I hadn't been to a theater since Men in Black came out.
Wow.
It was the last time
I had a hard time watching Men in Black too, but like on the Christmas movie spectrum, it's completely opposite because The Grinch is my favorite Christmas movie.
Mom loves The Grinch.
I like The Grinch, but
Also,
Home Alone is the best Christmas movie.
Home Alone is a good Christmas movie.
No. Home Alone is the best Christmas
Well, to
movie.
me, it's a great Christmas movie.
also, Die Hard's not a Christmas movie. It was just filmed during Christmas. It took place during
Apparently,
Christmas.
it was Die Hard 2 that took place at Christmas, not Die Hard 1. So
I'm pretty sure they both took place at Christmas.
I said the same thing, but Galen argued with me, and I'm not
Yeah,
researching
the first
it.
one took place, was it Nakatomi Plaza was the name of it? They
Yeah.
was having a
Yeah,
Christmas party.
yeah,
That's what I thought.
It took place during Christmas, but it was not a
second
Christmas
one-
movie.
The second one was the one that it has Samuel L. Jackson in it, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson.
And there was
in this,
nothing
yeah.
Christmas about that movie, if I recall.
Yeah.
Wait, so you do like sci-fi, Brandon?
Within reason.
3 Body Problem on Netflix. Have you seen that show? Man, you got to watch that one. It's really good.
Has anybody, which I think Paisley's out of the loop on this, because she doesn't have her technical devices right now. Have y'all been keeping up with the Afro Man thing that's been going
Yes.
on?
We just watched a video about it last night. So
Okay,
funny.
so you remember Afro Man?
Yes.
And it was okay. So the guy that sang "Because I Got High." So at some point, a couple of years ago in 2022, I think his house was busted into by the police for
Oh, okay. Yeah.
drugs and kidnapping. So he goes and like makes light of the situation.
And they end up trying to sue him or something.
Yes,
didn't they?
he won the case, but that has been like my loop this week because he talking about the lemon pound cake and
It's such a great song.
please pay for my door and
Dude,
all
he
this.
ate them up in court. He made them look like such idiots because they were idiots. Like,
The sheriff's ex-wife was their only witness, and she was defending Afro Man because they claimed that it was like defamation and all this other stuff, but they were laughing about it. And she saw them all laughing about it, and she testified against her ex-husband in Afro Man's favor. It was great. But the wild part is they were allowed to do that, and then got mad because he was trying to make money to fix the damages that they did.
caused.
yeah, and it was great because he put like made songs about it, and then made music videos to go with those songs and put CCTV footage of them like breaking into his house and stuff. But then also afterward, the funniest part to me was when he like put that part about that he slept with the officer's wife or whatever in the song.
Yes.
And then there was this whole thing where the
And insult to injury.
where the lawyers and stuff were asking or maybe the judge or I don't know, prosecutor, defendant, were asking the cop, was there any merit to that? Did he sleep with your wife? And he's like, well, I don't know. He's like, he's questioning himself about whether Afro Man slept with his wife after he's been with her since like junior high. Yeah, I'm like, poor wife. She's sitting there like, no, I didn't sleep with Afro Man. Like, when are you going to believe me? Like, he just said that to piss you off and it worked. Like, how insecure are you?
I just thought it was hilarious because he was like, I don't get a right to free. Y'all broke into my house for nothing. And he was like, y'all didn't find any drugs and you didn't find any kidnapping victims.
Well, and that's the craziest thing is that the cops in that situation are dumb enough that they think that they can countersue or something for him making songs about, like, no, you can.
You know how hard
Like,
it is?
this is free speech. You can 100% make
Yeah.
a song about the cops coming to your house.
It's so hard to prove
What?
defamation.
Nobody sued NWA for making their song called.
One.
I mean, yeah, well, the FCC shut them down. So there was that. They
Oh,
were
did you hear
censored.
that? Did you hear that story that Ice Cube told? He was talking about the guy that owned the place they were performing told them not to perform the F the Police song.
Yeah.
And they did it anyway, and the police arrested them just to get their autographs.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. But
Well, there is a difference on like the broadcast laws, like being on the radio versus, I mean, we're on a podcast, we're on the internet, we can say anything we want.
correct.
No.
Which is like, it's vastly different than because the radio is federally regulated.
Mm-hmm.
So like Eminem was a nightmare for the FCC, a nightmare for the FCC. And I always get funny because their generation
Are
tried
you
to.
saying he was a nightmare for the FCC?
Yes. Yes.
Just making sure I heard that right.
Okay,
Okay, hold on, stop. They always try to cancel everybody. Their generation does. They like Gen Z.
I'm not
I
included in this.
I see every time you say that, it confuses me. Like, I'm gonna get canceled because I'm like, that is so like 2015. Nobody gets
Right.
canceled. Nobody gets canceled anymore. Like, cancel culture is not a thing
Well,
anymore.
at some point, like 2 years ago, they found the song, Gen Z found the song about Eminem's ex-wife. And they were trying to cancel him over it. So like the millennials are all on the internet, like, bro, the FCC couldn't cancel Eminem. You think
Yeah.
you think he cares about what you say?
Yeah.
Nobody cares anymore.
Nobody
Say
cares.
whatever
Nobody
they want.
cares.
I've always thought cancel culture was so cringe because
Do you
like,
really?
Yeah.
I don't. Nobody cares. Literally, nobody cares. Literally, I promise you, nobody cares.
Well, because it like your generation is the one that is like that's where it became super.
No,
popular.
it's the millennials. It's
You
your
think it?
generation.
It was-
Yes, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's your generation.
I was 5.
Are you not a millennial? I think you're
on the-
borderline.
I'm on. Yeah,
You're on
I'm
the
a
cusp.
zillennial. Yeah, I don't know.
And we're a zillennial with a Z with an X because me
Yeah,
and Brandon
yeah.
are because we're in the last year of Gen X. So that's where that kind of comes in. Because to me, going onto the internet and being like, "Oh my God, you did this," is insinuating that you've never done anything.
Right. And that's why I've always thought like cancel culture was is so unnecessary because in real life nobody cares. Like
Yeah,
get
I would say
a job.
I would say Gen Z and Gen Alpha are very much like free internet. You know, like uncensored
Yeah.
internet.
Like I don't
no cancel
care.
culture.
I don't care who y'all talk about. I don't care what you say. I don't care what bad words you say. I don't care who you talk about. Like why does everybody care so much? Get a job.
Well,
Yeah.
She's like, just get a life.
There,
man.
here's a really scary word that some of you might get triggered by. Job.
she's going to get us canceled talking like that.
Well,
Job application resume.
Well, that's the thing though. Like, and you're not wrong. Like now that I sit here and think about it, like, you know, the things that have happened locally, it's the same thing. Like
Well,
gonna go
we're
onto
also
the,
lagging behind like 10 years.
Yeah.
In Leesville.
Yeah, we're gonna go on the internet and we're gonna cancel you, all you people. You know that. How dare you? And you're not wrong because they're
Yeah.
not Gen Z. They are not Gen Z.
Yeah, no,
so
they're millennials.
it's like we're gonna tarnish their reputation online, and it's just like, what would you do that for? I'm not saying you shouldn't do that to pedophiles.
Oh yeah, publicly shame all of them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying, but like,
Well, and
that's-
it turns out we have a mechanism for that called federal prison. So they
Yes,
get their
yes,
whole
yes,
life
yes.
gets canceled. You know?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
to me, that's and sorry.
No, you're good, you're good.
But I just want to insert that because I have been thinking about that a lot as like the court of public opinion thing, and it's so. I think people forget that we have actual courts. Like
Correct.
We don't need the court of public opinion. These things can be litigated, and people can go to jail. We don't have to have our own personal opinions about it. And I don't know. I think that that our generation, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, you know, the younger generations are starting to understand that more, or at least.
Brandon and I were talking about that earlier because there's the Second Amendment is somehow misconstrued online. And
Second
we were
Amendment is right to bear arms.
That's correct. So it's the right to keep and bear arms. I'm so glad you knew that. That does not.
That does not mean you shoot somebody for walking across your property.
Correct. That does
Right.
not mean you shoot somebody because you have a disagreement or you have a difference of opinion. You should not encourage people to do that online. But I see that all the time. It's like, oh, well, maybe if they don't do this, we should practice our Second Amendment right. And it's like that. You don't have a right to murder anybody.
Yeah.
I
Whether
don't
you
know
agree
how
with them or
that-
not.
Is Louisiana a stand your ground state? Or?
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean that definitely doesn't apply to online discourse.
Oh no,
Like-
for sure.
like if you-
like okay, if someone comes on my property, I don't know what their intentions are, and even if you're in a stand your ground state, and it's like just because you can doesn't always mean you should.
Well, and-
maybe ask questions first.
That's correct.
Shoot
You
later.
have to.
Not the
They
other
have
way
to.
around.
You have to be able to prove they pose a threat. And I don't
just-
know if
Yeah.
I got into a fairly heated back and forth with somebody a
Not
while
you.
back. Yeah, over this very exciting this exact same topic was, and this person believes that if somebody walks onto your property, you have the right to
No, you don't.
blow their face off.
You don't.
No.
Well, you don't, because what if he's lost and he's looking for directions, or he's injured and he needs help?
and you just blew his face off.
and you just
a matter of fact, if you walk into your back door and they're running out your front door with your TV, if you shoot them,
get
you're going to jail for murder.
There's no threat there.
There's
He's
no
running
threat.
away
He's
from
running
you.
away from you.
Yeah, all he had was your TV, guys. I promise you, your TV is not that valuable.
Well, I mean, it not for somebody's life, and I know there's
Yeah.
people that are going to disagree with that. Now,
I mean, I'll shoot him in the leg. So he hobbles
acceptable.
away. You
Yeah,
know?
so like in the foot,
acceptable.
in the arm.
I'm
But
shooting. I'm for sure. I'm shooting him.
But you're
I'll
not
shoot him in the leg. I won't
shooting to
aim center
kill.
mass. No, I'm
You
not
know-
double tapping on center mass.
Now, there's a difference if they're on the other side of the door with a gun and you're on the inside of the door with a gun, and you tell them, if you come in this house, I'm going to shoot you, and they force entry anyway, you got a different problem.
Yeah, free reign.
But I mean, that is actually posing a threat. But if they're in your barn 3 acres away and you see them over there and you run over there, they're not, they were net, you became the threat when you went over
Well,
there.
and this guy
It's
here,
weird.
The comment I made to him, and he disagreed with me. If I'm coming over there to borrow a cup of sugar, it's not my property. I walk up on your steps, you're going to gut shoot me because I need the cup of sugar.
Right.
Where's the threat there?
Right,
Well, it's my property. It don't make a damn. You can't just shoot somebody for being there.
Exactly.
I think and that is scary. I mean, I would much rather it be that way. Like the law is more lenient in that regards in stand your ground state than the opposite of like in California, where someone can come and rob your house with guns and you will get prosecuted if you defend yourself.
Well, California is a joke anyway.
It is.
Okay,
I mean,
California
yeah.
needs to fall off the map. I'm sorry.
Be nice.
That was nice.
Right. That's the least I can say.
Well, I mean, I just, like those kinds of things.
Yeah. But I think people are more reasonable too. Like everyone that grew up, I mean, we grew up hunting with guns and I mean, there may be a lot, talk of that online and stuff, but I think for the most part, because we grew up around guns, hunting and all of that, we understand gun safety and
Right.
are not going to just shoot someone the minute they roll up.
Well, right. And I think a lot of times, like in particular in this generation, she's been taught, she's hunted, things of that nature.
I killed 8 point.
But I didn't do as good a job as my parents and grandparents did, because I can remember being outside one day and there was a big snake. Walked into the house. There's adults in the house. I didn't ask anybody. I didn't, I went, got a shotgun, loaded it, went out. Where are you going with that gun? It's like,
Right.
yeah, there's a snake. They came out, but nobody like stopped me. Whereas if she walked in the house and got a gun and started loading, I'd be like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Put that gun down.
Yeah, mom.
Like,
Galen got me a shotgun for Christmas a few years ago, and mom won't even let it sit in my room. It stays in their room.
No. Well, because because there's been so many accidents, there's been all of these things that could happen. It's just a safety measure of you need to keep your guns in somewhere where kids can't get a hold of them.
Yeah.
Because specifically this generation where you don't know if they're being like bullied online, you don't know where their mindset is, because we didn't have to deal with that. We didn't have to deal, like, you might have a bully at home, but you're going to get to leave the bully. At school,
I was like,
you're going to get to leave the bully.
Yeah.
The bully is not going to constantly be there, be in your face, all the time in your inbox.
Too, though, in regards to that, when we were growing up and you had a bully, you punched him in the mouth and it ended it. Now you do that. And
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is I think there's as far as bullying is concerned, I do think that there's more like parental and teacher input on that now. I do think that schools get more involved, whereas before it was like, take care of it.
and the fact about being bullied now is I've been bullied my whole life. I don't care. If you have
see, I
something
kind of had you pegged as the bully.
No,
I am.
she is. Yeah,
figured.
I'm the bully back to the bullies.
I got you.
But
she doesn't just go out of her way to bully anybody.
like I'll pick at my friends, but I don't bully people. But
Yeah.
the whole thing with teachers and parents getting involved with the whole bullying situation is the fact that the parents of the bully start to feel like their little babies they're getting targeted. So they start to be mean to the kid that's getting bullied as well at their big age. And then the teachers don't do anything. Principal doesn't do anything until the kid finally punches somebody
Has
in the
enough
face.
of it.
Yeah.
Well, but I do think that they do take more measures these days than they did back when we were in school, because it really was a free for all. I mean, that was just like, figure it out. Don't think lip off that guy. It's just one of those things. So I do think that's another one of those things that is different now than it was back when we were a kid.
And I'll admit, there's been a few times where somebody will say something to me and I want to punch them in the face, but I know I can't because they have not touched me.
I just remember, be nice until it's time not to be nice.
Yes. And I do think there's more instances where it's a home situation and like hurt people. I believe hurt people. Like I will stand.
Well, they try to pass that along to somebody else.
And I'll stand with that forever. But it could also be a situation where their parents don't hit them enough, clearly. And you can tell based off the way they act.
Paisley's been raised in a corporal punishment household, and it shows.
But you can tell you can tell like off some kids' behavior. And I know that I'm not trying to sound like I'm above anybody because I'm not. But like the way some kids act and the way, especially girls, the way girls treat other girls, you can tell that they've A, never been spanked in their household, or B, never been punched in the face.
Well, and I think that, that's usually one of my grievances with the newer parents because, the gentle parenting thing, which I don't think is wrong, I'm just, if you're at a restaurant and your kid is screaming to the top of their lungs and you're ruining the experience for everybody else around you,
right?
Maybe just go home or don't bring them until they can conduct themselves properly.
My mom, my mom, if I would have been screaming in a restaurant, she would be like, "You want to go to the bathroom?" And I would have been like, "No."
Well, we experienced that yesterday. So I was in the bathroom at Raising Cane's in Pineville. And there's
you can't go a single episode without mentioning Raising Cane's.
Listen, it's an integral part of
Raising
my
Cane's.
life.
It's part of your personality.
Yes.
We talked about that not too long ago.
So there's 3 bathrooms in the Pineville location, and they're gender neutral bathrooms. I guess that's the right way to say it. But it's a one stall. It's just like a one bathroom with the changing table and all that, and you have the little thing and it says in use or not. Well, I go into the bathroom and I had already opted to sit on the opposite side of the restaurant of these kids because you could tell from the minute you were around them that they were
brats.
Yes, they were menaces. So we sit on the complete opposite side. I get up to go to use the bathroom. One of them gets up. First of all, it's 2026. I don't know why we're sending 5-year-olds to the bathroom alone. By themselves. I don't know why we're doing that, but I digress. So I'm in the bathroom and it's like frosted glass, and he starts banging and screaming on the window. Let me in! Blah, blah. I mean, the whole restaurant can hear this. He's got his face smushed up to the glass.
You should have.
I would have opened that door.
And I was just like, I let this go on for like 2 minutes. Until I finally was like, you have to wait until the person in here is done to be able to use the bathroom. So please get away from the door. He proceeds to the next door and the next door to do the same thing, all while his parents are sitting within earshot.
Not doing anything.
And in my mind, I'm thinking if my kid had even done this for 2 seconds.
Oh, I snatched him by the hair of his head is what would have happened. You ain't fixing to embarrass me up in here.
Yeah, we about to tackle this because we're not doing this. But like something changed along the way.
And then those kids proceeded to scream the entire time we were there, and their eldest sibling was sitting there. They did.
She gets mad at kids that are parented this way because she's not that way.
It's weak parenting.
And
That's exactly what it is.
Mind you, these kids are screaming, and there's other people in the restaurant. The parents aren't doing anything. They're hee-hee-ha-haing about it. And their oldest son is sitting at a complete different table from them.
With an iPad. Phone, whatever.
Inch away from face. And he's not even eating Raising Cane's. He has a box of chicken nuggets. So
from
they
McDonald's.
bought him.
Bull crap.
They bought him chicken. They bought him chicken nuggets to come to a place with chicken tenders.
First of all, they should have made them. You're not bringing that in here.
And then I was talking to Mom, and I said, like, I know this. Mom would have either told me to starve or eat here because we're not doing that.
I'm going to look at the camera to people for this PSA. Don't buy your kids an iPad.
Please don't.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't.
It's making them terrible.
Yeah.
It's hurting them.
It's bad when people are like, oh my God, they're an iPad kid.
Digital babysitters.
There's a term for it now because you can tell exactly what it is when you encounter them. And I'm not judging. It's clearly
I'm judging.
I'm judging. Yeah.
I'm judging.
He's like, I'm 100% judging. I just think that, and I've done a bad job of, Paisley's not an outside kid. She does play softball. She plays sports, but growing up, she was not an outside kid.
And that was
I was
mainly
okay with that.
That was also because I don't like the way dirt feels whenever it dries on your skin. I don't like the way that feels. And I grew up with all boys and nobody close to my age.
Yeah.
So whenever
she was the little one out of everybody.
Whenever I did hang out with Austin, Derek, and David, I would have no idea what they were talking about.
Yeah, they would. She was 6 and 7 years younger than everybody else. So
BB, he has a little iPad thing. It's not an iPad, but it's a tablet.
yeah,
But
but that boy stays.
I was
dirty.
fixing to say, you see him. You've seen pictures of him in his underwear outside rolling in the dirt. He's probably there right now.
Yeah. He stays outside, and Paisley wasn't an outside
He
kid.
came in yesterday. Him and my daddy worked in a garden together all day long yesterday, and he didn't have a shirt on. He come in and it was absolutely cooked, sunburned. I said, "Son, you're sunburned." Oh, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, if you control the usage, I mean, it's the same thing with TV. And I mean, when we were growing up, like you had the capacity to be an iPad kid to an extent if you just sat in front of the TV all day.
Right, correct.
I think just giving your kid an iPad, like unfettered use of an iPad, especially like to shut them up because you're like a lazy parent.
Yeah, here, take this and
Yeah.
leave me.
Yeah, that's when it's not okay.
Yeah. I do see a lot of that. Like, I never did that. I didn't have the option. I didn't have an iPad, but like you see them pushing around, and I get it. You see them pushing them around while they're grocery shopping and they're glued to that iPad. I do understand why.
Because it keeps them quiet, and
does keep
little
them
kids
quiet.
screaming we're screaming in the Walmart is not fun.
You know what else keeps them quiet? The fear of God. And
Yes.
that they're going to get the belt
Because
when they get
ask
home.
Paisley, to this day, I can cut her a look, and she's like, I'm sorry.
I can tell, yeah. You're well-behaved, like
Yeah, I mean, it's like you can,
Yeah.
like, if we're in a private setting, I might kick her under the table,
Right.
and she's done.
Or I'll say something that I don't really think's out of pocket, but it's out of pocket for the people I'm around. And Mom will look at me from across the table, and she's like, and I'm like, and I just won't talk the rest of the day.
Yeah, she's just like, oh, my bad. And it's not like, I think a lot of people think that in some sense that whipping your kid is enjoyable. And to me, it's not,
It absolutely is not.
I can't
it's
tell
a necessity that you don't enjoy.
I can't tell you the last time.
Kind of like paying taxes.
Yeah. I can't tell you the last time I actually whipped her. I mean, that's.
Yeah, it's really like a few and far between thing. I feel like if you exercise it correctly, because it's to set the tone when you're younger and to teach you that there are consequences to your actions.
Correct.
And then after that, it's not like you shouldn't have to be whipping your kid constantly.
Yeah.
It should be.
Well, and that's the thing is it's like with Paisley, now she's older. I don't have to do that kind of stuff, but.
Now you just suck her right in the face. Just
Well,
pop.
No, you hit them with the
Yeah.
Well, for her now, and we actually had this talk yesterday. I was like, I think that both of my kids would be able to tell you reasonably that before I ever do anything, I've asked you at a minimum 3 times nicely, minimum, very calmly, very nicely. Hey, don't do that. Hey, stop that. Whatever the case may be. And more recently, and I'm not picking on you, she did get grounded. Probably twice, 2 or 3 times beforehand. I told her, I was like, hey, this is becoming a problem. And I warned her. I just kept warning her. And I set her down and I was talking to her and I was like, this is going to be a problem if you do not stop what you're doing. If you don't stop, this is going to be the consequences. And I think that's where a lot of people are not following through. They don't have to be, you don't have to whip them, make them do a wall squat. You know how hard that is to do? That's a terrible thing. You don't have to whip your kids. But if they know that you're going to give them 87 chances, I'm going to ask nicely several times before there's any consequence.
But when the consequence does come around, it's bad and I deserve it.
Yeah, I mean, she knows. She knows. I mean, because after she got in trouble this last go around, I asked her, I was like, did I not tell you no less than 7 days ago that this was coming? If you did not stop what you were doing, this was coming. Yes, ma'am. So, I mean, yeah, is she grounded from everything but breathing and sports? Absolutely.
And my TV.
Yeah.
My parents made the mistake of putting me in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu classes pretty early on. because my dad and I would wrestle and all that. I was 10. By the time I was 12, I was a mean, like I could kick my dad's ass. Like I'm like, you try to whip me, I'm gonna armbar you.
Yeah. Well,
So they had to get creative with the punishment. But by that point, it's like you're starting to hang out with friends, and it's like you start to have privileges where it's like, okay,
right,
you can't go out with your friends or whatever.
You can't do this.
There's other leverage.
Yeah, there's other leverage you can use.
Yeah.
And mom's favorite leverage is preventing me from seeing my boyfriend. So she knows that can get to me, and she knows my phone, and just seeing people in general. And she knows how much I hate practice, so she makes sure I make it to all those.
Well, I mean, it's just that's the thing. Is it like, I think that's what I see the most of it. It's like, if you don't do that, I'm going to spank you, or if you don't do that, but they never follow through.
Right.
You know, and you have to have the consequence. And a lot of times it's not even a consequence of corporal punishment. It's like, hey, don't touch that. That's hot. Hey, don't touch that. That's hot. Hey, don't touch that. That's hot.
In
just
a
let them
situation,
touch it.
that's what I was going to say. In a situation like that, it's best just to step back and let.
Yeah. Because I can't tell you how many times there's been a toddler hand, going towards something that's hot, and don't do that. They don't care, so let them touch it.
As soon as you look away, they're gonna be like,
let them stick the fork in the light socket once, and
just
I guarantee you they will not do it again.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is I think that we're taking away that from them. I think they're being robbed of that because there's no consequence, and then we're trying to figure out why we're sitting in a courtroom with them. Look, you're sitting in a courtroom because you never made them face one consequence in their life.
I would say I was a pretty cautious kid because whenever I used to walk past the Christmas tree, I would go, "Ot."
Yeah, I didn't have problems with her. She for some reason thought the Christmas tree was hot. So
as soon as I got a toolbox, I started taking the wall plates off the lights, sockets, and outlets and all that. I remember one time I was like messing with the toaster, like taking it apart or something, and plugged it in and got a 120 shock.
Greg,
I'm like 6. I was like, whoo, all right, I'm never doing that again.
And you never did either, did you?
No, I've been very cautious.
Right. I mean, I think there's just learning experiences. Some of them have to be learning experiences, and some of it has to be some sort of punishment. I'm not telling you to whip your kids, and I'm not telling you you're a bad parent if you don't. I'm telling you they don't have some sort of consequence, it's not going to work out well.
And to be clear, I am not advocating for your kid to learn trial by fire with the electricity. 120.
Yeah.
120,
No, don't do
120 can kill you if under the right circumstances.
Yeah, it's just that there's like your kid better than anybody else does, so if there's something that you're going to be able to take away from them and it's going to bother them, take it away.
Also,
don't give it back the minute they start whining.
Right.
She's whined this whole time.
Teach them the difference between gasoline and diesel too.
Yes,
That's one thing
please.
So like I remember, because we throw diesel on, wood or whatever, get a fire started to burn something or whatever. But like
you don't have nearly the whoosh effect with diesel as you do with gasoline.
Yeah, I remember when I was like 10 or something. I was like, all right, I'm gonna get a fire started with some gas. I went down to the shop and got like a spray paint can lid. I was like, I know it's not gonna be much, but I had the majority of a spray paint can lid of gasoline, and I walked it over and like put it on the wood and then like put the cap somewhere, and I lit that lighter and it blew up in my face, and I like fell back, and then I saw a trail of fire go from the bonfire over to the cap, and I was like, whoo, okay, not diesel, not diesel, gas, different thing.
And I think the whole, like, I would say most kids nowadays are like sheltered, and they like my mom whipping me and my mom fussing at me, like, made me realize that there are always going to be consequences to my actions, but it also built like character. Like I can laugh about it now, and like not enough kids like can do that.
Yeah, I don't think it's as traumatizing as people think. I don't feel traumatized. I was whipped a lot, and I don't.
Pain
feel
is temporary. Swag is forever.
Well, I just don't feel like I was traumatized by anything, and I got punished a lot as a kid. But I think it shows that if you can do it, or the court can do it, or the police can do it,
right?
And I think that's where I'm always like baffled, because it's like, how did you get to where you are? And then the parents are like, we don't know what's wrong. I know what's wrong.
Yeah.
you gave them everything they wanted because it was easier than,
Than being a parent.
The only thing that traumatized me was 2006 internet, but gotten over it, I guess.
Well, I think if you choose to stay in your trauma, that's probably
Yeah.
where a lot of the problems start.
And also the whole thing with like the whole gentle parenting, like handing your kid an iPad. There's so much stuff on the internet that they can see at a young age. Like,
Yeah.
I'm glad that now they have the parental controls and stuff on the iPads, and you should do that. Although your kid, if they're smart, probably will find a way around it.
Correct. Yeah.
But I'm glad that exists.
Yeah. Well, and that, like, for me, with Paisley, I just, and I hate it. She just came in last night. She came in and she was like, when can I see so-and-so again? And I'm just like, get out of my room, because I'm.
Was you just that mean about it? Just go away. I don't talk to you.
yes.
Get out of my room. She came in very nice. Please don't get mad at me. Don't yell at me. Blah, blah, blah. She knew.
And
she knew it was going to upset me.
And then you was mean to her.
I wasn't mean. I said, get out of my room.
That sounded pretty mean.
Yeah. Well, she
No,
knew
she just
better
like,
than
she's
that.
lying in her bed and she goes, get out. I
Yeah,
was like,
get out. It's not like
It was
you're
worth a shot.
facing a consequence that you
A
knew
for
was
effort.
coming. You're facing, and I told her, I was like, this is coming. This is coming. And when it comes, it's not going to be good and it's not going to be short. This is what's coming.
Yeah, she was fussing at me like the day I got grounded, and mom's like, she wants to be ambiguous and enigmatic and interesting. So she tells me I'm grounded for the foreseeable future.
Well, I mean, I don't have a time on it now because I don't know whether or not, I don't know whether or not I feel like you've learned a lesson or not. Because, and we had this discussion, because she's been grounded from the phone before, and then
Multiple
she'll
times.
be fine the whole time. She does great the whole time.
You know what? When I leave, I'm going to call Mindy and get her to make me some signs, and I'm going to come put them in y'all's yard. Free Paisley.
Give Paisley
Justice
her
for
phone
Paisley.
back.
Yeah,
I used
well,
to keep a backup phone
yeah,
when I
she,
get grounded.
No,
I'd
she
have
took
like
my
a-
laptop.
I'd have like a
I took
drawer of old
everything.
electronics I could resort back to. Like
well, she does great, and then she'll have her phone, and then it's like little by little, we just get right back to where we were, just like gradually, so it's like, and I tell her like midway through, hey, we're going back right where we are. Stop it.
Sorry, y'all.
Like, do I not do this? I have multiple talks with her before, and I tell people all the time, have I crashed out? Absolutely. Go ask both of my kids whether or not I talked to them about it first.
The only thing mom's like mainly crashed out about is if she's asked me to do the dishes like 4 times and I'm still sitting on the couch and not doing the dishes, then she'll start yelling at me.
But how
Or
many
she'll-
times did I ask?
Or she'll like do it herself, and I'll like walk over there and I'm like, Mom, I got it. And she's like, it's fine. And she's like throwing the Tupperware in the dishwasher.
How many times did I ask you though? I always ask like literally 3 times or more before I'm like, and then I crash out. And you can like, I just feel like that's the standard, ask nicely and then, okay, crash out. It is what it is. I don't think that it's, I don't think it's traumatizing. I don't think you can only, okay, if your job is asking you to do something, show up on time and you are late.
The most basic of things.
Right. If you're late 2 or 3 times and they come have a talk with you, how many times do they have to come have a talk with you before you're fired?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's a crash out, and I was watching a video about that the other day, and this is an example of people not getting consequences. They're like, hey, this is so-and-so with HR. You're getting fired. We have had multiple conversations with you about your tardiness. You're scheduled to be in here at 6 a.m. and you showed up on this day at 6:14. And she's like, yeah, that's only 14 minutes.
Yeah,
And
but it
they're
wasn't
like,
on time.
Yeah. And then they're like, okay. And then on this day you showed up at 6:28. And she's like, yeah, that's 28 minutes after the time that you're supposed to be there, right? And then she tells her, and on this day, you came in at 6:32. And she was like, oh, well, I had loaned my friend my car and blah, blah, blah. None of that has anything to do with your job.
Yeah, that has no correlation with anything.
Not only have you continued to do it, but you've progressively gotten worse.
Yeah.
Correct.
Like
And-
the times have gotten.
And she had already
Right.
been counseled prior to this, right? And this woman's like 30 years old, 25, 30
Old
years old.
enough to know better.
Yeah.
At her big age.
And it's weird. We're not talking about an 18-year-old. And then they're like, and then on this day, you didn't even show up or call or anything. And she was like, what day? And they tell her, and she was like, that was my birthday. And she was like, yeah, I worked on my birthday too. And she's like, yeah, y'all are too grown for me. Like,
There's the door.
You're fired. You're like, you have to have consequences. You know, like even police officers give you a warning ticket, but by God, they catch you speeding again.
You're getting a ticket.
You're getting a ticket. You know, and then if you don't pay that ticket, you're going to jail.
Period.
Yeah.
You know, so that, I mean, I don't, there's got to be consequences and a crash out, quote unquote, at some point. You know, somebody has to hold you accountable. I think that's what we lack.
And I feel like whenever I had a job, I got my first job when I was like 12, working at the dry cleaners. That was against my will. They was like 90.
We have child labor laws for a reason. Edit that out, please.
And I ended up wanting to work there because I like having money. I love money. Thank you. But it was always like 90 degrees in there because of the presses. And I remember I only showed up late once, and that was because Mom woke me up, and I did not remember it. Like, we had a full-on conversation about Mom telling me to wake up and get ready for work that I do not remember. And
Yeah.
I showed up like an hour late to work, and I'm crying, calling my boss, walking up to the dry cleaners,
She
and
knew.
I'm so sorry.
She knew.
And Miss Lisa was like, it's okay, just get here now. She was like, just come on. And you know, Miss Lisa loves me, so.
Yeah. She knew. She knows that there's like,
Because Galen is like,
I know. We know.
If
You don't-
you're 15 seconds late, you're fired.
you're
Like,
fired.
Yeah, that's what was crazy to me when you were telling that story. It's like 14 minutes as if that's like, you know.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was like, that was no big
like,
deal.
Yeah.
what?
And I've always been taught, like, you need to be 10 minutes early,
Yeah,
you know,
for
10 or
sure,
15
yeah,
minutes
to work.
early.
Yeah,
and if you're on
absolutely.
time, you're late.
If
Yeah.
you're on time, you're late.
Yeah. So, all right. well,
I could get over. I'm sorry. I can get over 5 minutes late. I can get over that. Maybe even 10 because there
No.
are sometimes extenuating circumstances.
Yeah, like once a month, 5 minutes late.
right.
Yeah.
Don't make it a habit, and it
Yeah.
better not be no longer than 5 or 10 minutes.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is like nowadays, and I don't, you know, I'm not saying we got it all right. I'm not saying anybody has it all wrong, but like, you know, I need to take a day off for my mental health. You have days off. Nobody works 7 days a week.
Yeah.
You know, like whatever your days off, those are your days off to like reset. You know, and most of the time, like yesterday we went shopping, but like after we're done with softball practice and stuff today, I'll go home and I'll reset. You know, and I feel like the younger generations are like, cannot handle just regular life.
I will tell you, like, I mean, it also depends on the job because, like, in tech, you know, when I worked at the software company, it was super laid back. It was more, and this is, I think, the way it should be, is if you're getting your job done, then you can kind of come in whatever, you know, some days most of the time it wasn't before 9 that I would log on, you know, and I was remote, but they knew that when I was working that I was like
Getting things done.
Get things done.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but do you need a mental health day from Starbucks?
No.
I mean, I don't know. It depends on how your mental health is. You may need a mental health day from whatever your job is, but I don't know that if it's not in your employment contract, like if I want to take a mental health day, that's a sick day. And it comes out of my PTO.
Right.
You
Right.
know? You don't just get unlimited mental health days. Like at some point you have to be like,
Right, because this was like a thing I was watching online, and it was like the Gen Z is going through this thing where they're getting fired because they're calling in, you know, once a week.
yeah,
And-
that's crazy. You're just taking advantage of.
Yeah, like they're calling in for once a week and they're late, and you know they go home early, and you know, and it's like there are expectations from your job. Do other countries do it a little bit different from us? Absolutely, but this is the way we do it. And then I don't know.
I think as an employer, that's something that you have to navigate. Like I was pretty surprised at this previous company that I worked at. You know, we had a team lead on the support team who would, he, you know, had just kind of gotten into some drugs and stuff. He was smoking a lot of weed, I think.
Wow.
And taking Adderall and stuff. And like just progressively got worse and was drinking and all that. And at one point he had a serious conversation with the manager, and the manager was so good and he was in touch enough with the employees that like the company sent him to a rehab program
right.
and didn't fire him, sent him to the rehab program. He came back and he was just solid as a rock after that, you know, and the employer was in touch with their employee enough to say,
Yes.
hey, you know, this, okay,
I don't
we
think
know
we
that something's
should
going
be-
on a personal level.
Right.
You know?
I don't think we should be treated like workhorses that
Right.
don't
Yeah.
go through normal, you know, everyday things.
Right.
And you know, and I've been through a lot of bad mental health things I've been through.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just life in general, I think. But I've never called in once a week.
No, yeah, that's a different. Like as an employer, you should be in touch with your employees enough, You know,
Yes.
you should be checking in with them enough to know where the line is, and you know, if
Right.
there's something really going on, then hey, let's.
Hey, what's going on? Let's help you.
Yeah,
You're a good employee. I know you're a good
Yeah.
employee. You just got something going on. Let's
Right.
help you fix
Get
it.
it fixed. Yeah.
Calling in once a week just because you like, I need a mental health break. Okay, that's what Saturday and Sunday is for.
Yeah, that's nothing new. People they're just taking advantage of the system.
Yeah.
They've always done that. Now
Yeah.
they can just use that as their card. You know.
Yeah. Well, and it's not even like mental health. It's just like, I don't feel the vibe today. I'm not, and it's like, I'm going to tell you a heavy 55% of the time, I don't want to go to work. I have to, but I don't want to.
A heavy 100% of the time, I don't want to go to school.
You don't, but this part of being a functioning
Adult.
member of society. You have to do things you don't want to do.
And I think that like, if you add up all the days I have not been to school, it's a total of like 6. I remember throwing up one night and I was like crying and I was like, Mom, I threw up, and she was like, okay, go to bed.
You gotta go to school in the morning.
You gotta go to wake up and go to school tomorrow. And I was like, what?
Okay, so what did y'all do when y'all were sick? Like, okay, I'm just going to tell y'all, it was a hostage situation if I stayed home. I better actually be sick. So we had one room in the house because the house was, it had been built on. It was a really old house. And when they bought it, it was really small. So stuff had been built all the way around it. So this room had no windows, okay? And there was no TVs in anybody's room at this point in time. If I was sick, I was sentenced to that room in the bed. My grandmother would bring me breakfast, lunch, and dinner in the bed. And you stayed there all day long. You're not getting up to watch TV. You can read if you want to, but you're going to sleep most of the day. So you better actually be sick because you are not getting any leniency and you are going to stay in the bed and get better. So you didn't want to stay home.
There was no laying on the couch with crackers watching The Price is Right.
No, sir. There was none of that. Like, if you're sick, you're too sick to watch TV. You're too sick to do any of this other stuff. So, like, she knew if I was sick, she was like, she's really sick. Because if you're really sick, you're going to go laying down in that bed and you're not going to move.
Right.
That's when you don't feel good. That's what you actually do. You don't get up and go do all this stuff. And, so I don't know what sick days look like for y'all, but this one will tell you she'll be fine all summer long. And 5th day of school, my stomach hurts. Stomach hasn't hurt all summer long. In my defense,
I do have bad stomach problems, but one of the only times I've gotten checked out of school because I was feeling sick was because I had an optical migraine and I had a headache so bad, and I looked at my Spanish teacher and I could see she had a head, but her face wasn't there. I couldn't see anything past this point.
Yeah. I have the same thing. So that I knew when she was telling me about it, I was like, I need to go get her.
Because if I put my hand right here, I couldn't see it.
Yeah. And I knew I had to go get her because I know the symptoms, so it was, but you're not staying home from school because you're not feeling the vibe. I'm sorry. That's terrible parenting. For me, speaking on that aspect, is terrible parenting. You have to go to school.
Another time I got checked out was because my stomach hurt. I was literally dying in pain, and I got home. 30 minutes after I got home, I projectile vomited all over my bathroom.
Yeah. So she has to actually be sick.
And whenever I was a kid, I would go into her room in the morning. And I'd be crying. I'd be I don't feel good. And Mom was like, I know you're lying because you're crying.
Yeah.
And I was like, what sense does that make?
It didn't make much, but
because she would be like, I know you're lying because you're crying. And I was like, if my stomach was hurting, I would be crying.
Yeah. Well,
you'd always you'll feel better when you get up and get to school.
Yeah. Right. You'll feel better. You won't be shivering cold whenever you get your school clothes on.
Well, I don't know how everybody else wakes up. When I wake up, I feel dead. It takes me a solid 15 minutes to be I
usually just stare at the wall for an hour, and I'm like,
yes, that's what I would like to do. I would like to be in complete, utter silence and nobody utter a word to me for 30 minutes. And that never happens, obviously, but
because we live with a Galen.
Yeah, but that would be what my ideal, scenario. So if she will say something to me within 5 minutes of waking up, I'm fully aware of what that feels like because I am currently experiencing that. And I don't want to do anything and I don't want to go to school and I want to cancel every plan that I have today. But in 20, 30 minutes, I'm going to feel fine.
Yep.
I used to be like that. Now I sleep for 7 hours on the dot, if not less, 6.5, 7 hours. I'm trending towards my dad's. Nice. I'm trending towards my dad's thing because my dad's always been he sleeps 4 or 5 hours. He's one of those people. He just genetically, and I think I did get that. And because for him, he said it progressed as he got older, where he started, But yeah, it's 7 hours on the dot, if not less. And I'm jumping up and I'm going to wander around aimlessly for a little bit, confused, probably make my way over here, like get coffee going. But I used to kind of laze around and like check my phone or whatever, which is a terrible habit.
It is.
Don't check your phone first thing in the morning.
Well, when I'm not grounded.
Don't get on Facebook or Instagram first thing in the morning. It's a terrible habit.
I'll usually when I have my phone, I'll usually wake up and I'll tap my phone to see what time it is because I have to know what time I wake up, because if I don't, like if I sleep till noon, okay, if I have a game before, like an away game, and I get home at like 11 and I sleep till noon, I don't care. Like I stayed up all night. And then, but if it's any other occasion and I sleep until noon, I feel like the worst, dirtiest hobo ever. And I wake up and I'm like, it's the middle of the day. Like I can tell it's the middle of the day because like how bright it is outside, and I'll tap my phone. It's like 12:38 and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I think the latest
feels like a bum.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just feel so dirty, hobo, homeless. Like, what am I doing with my life?
My parents don't understand. Like, for them, it's like, you know, to bed at 10 at the very latest, you know, up at 5 a.m. And they don't understand when my sleep schedule, because I mean, there've been times that I've had a consistent sleep schedule, but now it's kind of like if I'm feeling it, like if I can get more work done, then I'm getting more work done, whether it's 1 a.m., 2 a.m., whatever. If
That's how
if
Galen
I'm
is.
in the zone, I'm in the zone. I'm not going to waste that time just because I want like an arbitrary sleep schedule. And then sometimes it's like what I do necessitates. It's like I need to be up at 2 a.m. and bring your whole network down, you know, to make a change or whatever. Same thing in software engineering. Like you would never know that. I mean, a lot of the biggest platforms and stuff, they're waiting until everybody is asleep and offline to.
Right.
So it just depends.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll wake up at like 2 a.m. and I'll wander the house and I'll just sit on the floor and pet Bam for like 30 minutes. And I'll just pet him. And then I'll be falling asleep while petting him. And then I'll just stand up and go back to my room.
Yeah. I have to go to bed before 10. I'm so sleepy by that point in time, but I'm usually up at like 4:45, 5 o'clock. So that's usually the way it is. All right. Well, we appreciate you coming on with us today. I got to get you to softball practice.
It was fun.
I don't want to go softball practice.
Go touch grass.
Go touch some grass.
It's turf.
Turf. Well, go touch it. Go touch it.
We're practicing on the dirt field today
Oh, okay. You will be on the dirt field. Okay. So you'll get to touch dirt.
and grass.
And
grass.
you love the way that dirt feels.
Yeah.
So.
Go touch some turf and then talk to your AI tutor.
Yeah.
Welcome to 2026.
Yeah. Welcome to 2026.
In the big 2-6.
All right. Well, y'all tune in next time for the next episode of Locally Hated.